Okay, slight apologies. We're just waiting for the teams to make their way out. What I can tell you, though, for FC Tokyo, this is their third appearance in the AFC Champions League. Their first appearance came when they were a J2 side, the only time that we've got a J2 side who's made it at that level. They made the round of 16 in their second appearance as well, and they'll be looking to make it here as well. But with Shanghai Shenhua and Ulsan, this is one of the really, really tough groups that the teams have got to negotiate their way through. Only the top two teams make it through from the 8 groups of 4. And to make it into the top 2 is no easy matter. A couple of Perth Glory fans have made the long trip up to the Tokyo Stadium. And there's also a bit of Perth support as well amongst the Japanese contingent, but the main noise is coming from a rather splendid rendition of Walk On. Bemused look. FC Tokyo have played Australian opposition in the AFC Champions League. They beat Brisbane 4-2 at home, lost 2-0 away in the 2012 group stages. This is a new opponent for them, and a new opponent in the AFC Champions League. Perth Glory about to make their way onto the big stage. 4-team group. The A-League Premiership winners in the 2018-19 season, preparing to come on to the big stage against FC Tokyo. Early team news we've got for you suggests that Christian Popovic is in the starting 11. Tony Popovic is the father of the central midfielder, so a big moment for him, and a big moment for Perth. They've got some experienced players out there, the likes of Neil Kilkenny, Tommy Machela, and Greg Wertrich, the Swiss, who used to play for Grasshoppers and FC Basel. He'll be alongside Alex Grant. Liam Reddy, 30-something. It is a very experienced side. There's a little bit of Southeast Asian interest as well. Joel Giannays will be playing on the right-hand side of a front 3 for Perth as they do prepare for their debut at this level. FC Tokyo. They've got 3 Brazilians leading their line, Leandro, Diego Oliveira and Adeilton. And a number of players who've had 1 or 2 caps in their career. Only Masato Morishige, the centre-back, has got a long-established Japan international career behind him, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they've played, a lot of their players have played in under 20 and the 23 representative level. This is a very good squad to come runners-up in the J-League. You need to show a certain amount of quality.
You certainly do, Des. Fornaroli will enjoy coming up against those South American counterparts of his, hailing from Uruguay, but it is a very strong FC Tokyo lineup, Des, as you've mentioned.
For Kenta Hasegawa, no changes from the side that drew 1-1 against Ulsan. Do look out for Leandro, who is probably the most mobile of the front 3. Hard-working midfield of Takahagi, Hashimoto and Abe. Referee and his assistants, all from Oman. Yaqub Abdul Baki, who has been on the AFC list for 5 seasons now. Centre-back Watanabe is the captain alongside Morishige. And you see Diego Castro has been recalled to the side for Perth Glory from their from their weekend competition. The highly experienced left-sided striker is a Spaniard, and he really is the key. With Ninkovic not included in their AFC squad, Castro will provide a little bit of magic that they create with a lot of workhorses around him, the likes of Kilkenny and Popovic, Subion and Franjic. They'll do the work. Castro to provide the opportunities for Formerelli and Chianese up front.
It is a really strong combination up top, Formerelli and Castro. Hasegawa in the dugout obviously would have reflected on Perth Glory's performances recently. Plenty of games to have a look at. Tony Popovic in the dugout with his assistant Hayden Fox, who was an incredibly accomplished player in his own right also. Plenty of games for Perth Glory coming thick and fast. There's lots of analysis that FC Tokyo could have a look at with the A-League season in full flight at the moment.
And quite the reverse, because the J-League season doesn't start until this weekend. Tokyo in action on Sunday. But for now, their focus is very much on the task in hand. And Perth Glory, one of the greats, the only team to win pre-A-League and post-A-League national championships. They are really the archetypical Aussie side. They grew great support in their glory days. They had crowds of up to 40,000 in the grand finals. Haven't quite been able to match those heroics until last season. Just waiting for the final countdown as Masato Morishige and Yujiro Takahagi just prepare themselves. This hitting the mark for kickoff times is very much an AFC thing. The players occasionally have to wait around and keep their spirits high, but we will be underway in precisely 1 second's time. It is Perth Glory who get us underway immediately into Popovic. Alex Grant. Chela. Push it long. Very high line immediately being held by FC Tokyo, PJ.
Certainly looking at keeping it very congested in that midfield area. FC Tokyo will certainly aim to play as much of the game in Perth Glory's half. Perth Glory really quite foreign to obviously this competition away from home. Imagine that first 15-20 minutes to be incredibly cagey. Tony Popovic obviously very, very familiar with this competition.
He won it. That's on Sydney Wanderers.
Exactly, and with a team that, no disrespect to the Western Sydney Wanderers players, but were an incredible team of pretty good individuals. But when they came together collectively, they were outstanding, and they rode their lock on occasion, but success in that competition was really built from a defensive platform.
It's Castro. Keeps it in play. Kilkenny. Killer, as they call him. Interesting character.
Important player in that midfield area for Perth Glory. Real box-to-box. Loves the hard yards and the dirty work. Good distribution on the ball also. Demands so much of his players, Tony Popovic, not only tactically in the way they approach the game, but in their relentless desire to grind out results when it isn't going your own way. Certainly expect a similar performance from them this evening.
Chela hurried into the back pass there under pressure from the all-Brazilian strike trio. That's not the best ball played backwards. Might still break a little tug on the back there, the ball by Chianese. Formerelli was closing in there as well, the Uruguayan.
Well, it is an exciting front three for Perth Glory. Chianese, clever on the ball, quick, quite dynamic. Forneroli and Castro, both of them very comfortable on the ball. Both certainly know where the back of the net is. Castro, in particular, that real creative influence.
Abe wants it forward. Some good pace there, and the first real threat is dealt with. Borthwick, I think, is conceded the corner. I think he has. That is the call, and just a little indication there that they'll try to play around the side of the big three centre-backs. They are all muscular players. This corner will be curled in by Leandro. Leandro. Dalton is 15, Diego Oliveira 9 in the penalty area. As well as Morashiga and Watanabe. Doesn't make any of the aforementioned players, and easily picked up by Moroya. Drink for Worthrick. Morelli. Gone by Kim Soo-bum. Kim's still involved in the move, couldn't keep it alive. Versatile player Kim, he can play either left or right in that wing-back position. Such an important role, in his fitness very important if that wing-back role is to work.
Very consistent in his level of performances. Very comfortable with both feet, really dynamic, love to burst forward and get forward and support. Imagine that he will be a bit more focused on his defensive duties in the early stages of this game.
Hashimoto out wide to Moroya. Watanabe. Hashimoto at the base of the three-man midfield. Agawa. Rashiga, again under pressure. Goalkeeper has to work hard as well. Akihiro Hayashi gives that away only as far as Kim Soo-byung. Grant, comfortable start if you're Perth Glory.
Certainly looking at keeping possession, knocking the ball around, and then we see the ball given away cheaply, which is generally the case when you're commentating. It has been a confident start. Perth Glory also aiming to defend high up the pitch.
Kim riding high above Moroya. Ball over the top. Worthrick is able to cover behind and then draw the foul off the diminutive Abe.
You certainly see FC Tokyo looking at trying to play the ball in behind and also in those wide areas of the back three of Perth Glory. Grant, Michello and Worthrick, both very big, strong defenders. Obviously, FC Tokyo potentially feeling that they're not as mobile as they probably need to be in this game. And their intentions are very clear from the beginning of this half.
In these 6-game groups, it's you can't go hell for leather, but if you can win your first 3 games, you're virtually guaranteed a place in the next round. It's always struck me as a difficulty for coaches on how they should manage their team. Really go for glory early on, or just sit back and wait and pray it comes down until the last game of the 6.
It is such a different format as well when you think of obviously a domestic competition. You're playing over 30 games a year and you can be a little bit measured. You can build your way into it, and you've got to manage suspension and injuries throughout it as well. But in many ways, the first stage of this is a 6-game season. And you just got to finish better than 50% of the teams and you progress through. It sounds fairly straightforward, easy, doesn't it? But it is true when you're away from home, different styles, different contrasts.
Moroya. 2 fullbacks will try to get forward, and it'll be up to Castro and Chianese to just stop their forward runs. Width provided by Agawa. Abe, all very patient, all very neat and tidy. Agawa onto Abe. Hashimoto suddenly brings in Moroya, who controlled it but couldn't keep it under control. Takahagi. Once again, lovely idea. Picked up by Alex Grant. And fed out to Castro, the Spaniard. 36 years young. It's actually been dispossessed there by Takahagi. Good hustle to win the ball back there by FC Tokyo, and a ball spread out to the far side to Ogawa. Franjic doing the covering. Ogawa leaves it. Leandro onto Abe. Hashimoto. Plenty of blue shirts forward. Abe picks it up, runs at Franjic. And then Ogawa, 3 in the penalty area if the cross comes in. And Ogawa's cross does come in. Werthrick half clears. Castro gets an important touch. Good pressing though from FC Tokyo. No free kick there, as again Castro is very, very quickly closed down. It's a feature of FC Tokyo, PJ.
Yeah, really strong passage of play there for FC Tokyo. Good build-up play, intricate passing to find that space out on that left-hand side, and still unable to get a clear cross into the box. Perth Glory doing very well to get bodies behind the ball and keep it very compact, but FC Tokyo really demonstrating the danger that they do have, even though it is a really solid bank of a couple of fours there for Perth Glory, still able to find their way around them.
Diego Oliveira wins the corner kick. He scored in the 1-1 draw at Ulsan last week. Alex Grant doing the defensive work, solid 26-year-old centre-back. And with all the Giants, it's largely zonal marking for Popovic's side. He was a centre-back himself, so he knows a little bit about defending. The header comes through, and Watanabe can't get there. Well, the referee has stopped the game because there's a head injury to Watanabe.
So it is a enormous long throw, massive long throw. Tanami there, he's gone for the header. Just a little bit of shin on the chin. Seems to be okay. Massive throw. How often you say a throw into the back post?
Liam Reddy, the 33-year-old veteran.
He has been around for years, Liam Reddy. Very colourful character. His father was an outstanding rugby league player in Australia.
It breeds a certain kind of mentality.
It certainly does.
No steps backwards from rugby league players as Moroshiga wraps his body around Bruno Formaroli. He's got a good birthplace as well, born in the same town as Luis Suarez and Edison Cavani.
Pretty impressive footballers that have certainly come from that region. It really has been an absolute quality foreign player in the A-League. It was brilliant for Melbourne City, and a bit of disagreement.
Werthrick, Pomeroli, and Grant all up there. Chela heads towards the back post. Castro down to Chinese. Can he keep it alive? The answer is, frustratingly for Perth Glory, no.
He had the right idea. He used his body very well. It was just as the ball rolled past into that byline, just really needing to whip it in early. Haven't been able to get any decent field position in FC Tokyo's half. Castro, such an important player for them, leading the line. Every time he's been on the ball, he's been closed down incredibly quickly.
Popovic. Morelli doing a good closing down. And then Grant finds Popovic. Do the simple stuff first as Franjic down the line. Gianese 2 in the penalty area. It's behind both Castro though and Formaroli, who had made a run towards the near post.
Well, both of their runs were basically at the same level, need to be a little bit staggered.
Could be the first yellow card here. Referee digs into his pocket. Tomislav Machela picks up the yellow for the trip on Adaleton.
Michela being pulled out into a wide area. Not exactly an area where he would feel as comfortable as he does in the middle of the park. And he's, in all reality, absolutely nowhere near that. Completely beaten for pace. An area that FC Tokyo will certainly look to exploit as well, looking at trying to stretch that big back three for Perth Glory. Get them into those wide areas with a bit of space in behind them to be able to exploit.
Leandro told to move the ball back 2 meters. Assistant referee helping out the referee. Now in the correct position. Now it's the turn of the one-man wall to be forced back a yard or so. 6 to aim for. It's a good ball, well met by Adaleton. He's frustrated with himself because he's got a full head on that ball, PJ Roberts.
He certainly has. Good shape from the delivery. Adaleton, he really should have done better. Just slightly under it, couldn't get above it. He's actually just completely mistimed it. It's gone to header, it's come off the side of his head. That was a good opportunity, and one that, from a second look, was an awful lot better than what it initially appeared.
Franic. It's behind for Morelli once again. They're not far off finding the right pattern, but Bruno Formaroli and Castro twice have made forward runs and the ball's being played behind them, so no direct attempts on goal for Hayashi to deal with, but danger from Perth on the break.
Movement has been decent. Getting bodies into the box, just that final ball has been lacking. Both teams, as we tick over past that 15-minute mark, just really starting to work their way into the game, being a little bit more comfortable.
Toko had more attempts on goal, 3-0, as we just alluded to. Making their moments as Popovic thinks of the cross instead. Chianese. This time he does get to the byline. For Morali, just pipped in the air. What a great header that was. And Castro curls one in. That time Morishige defends, and then Hashimoto does the same. Some excellent defensive work to repel really dangerous balls into the penalty area. Wertrick pings one out wide, but too far. Nice idea. Castro gives a thumbs up. What a ball this is, though.
A little bit deceiving, just clipped into that back post area. Well defended as well. Fornaroli certainly was eyeing that off. Moroy had good body positioning, nice and close. Did everything right defensively. Well, it's been an intriguing opening 15 or so minutes of this game. We've seen reasonable quality from both teams. No real clear-cut opportunities at this stage, but certainly enough to demonstrate that we're going to see some entertaining football.
Possessional stats just about even, 52-48 in favour of the home team, Tokyo, as Oliveira turns away from Chianese. Hashimoto. Kilkenny just felt something on the top of his boot there. Didn't get the free kick, so he's back running like a gazelle. Wertrick. Michela.
This is good defending. FC Tokyo just squeezing them in, closing the options.
Franic gets himself out of danger. Castro. Kilkenny. Popovic available. got a history of father managers and sons as players. Have Perth Glory. McMahon, Edwards, now Popovic.
Yeah, Alistair Edwards, ex-teammate of mine, actually at Perth Glory at the same time. Yeah, it is a difficult situation to be in.
Again, pressing. There's nowhere to go, Worthrick. But Perth not resorting to the long ball, as I would be imploring them to if I was coach or goalkeeper.
Well, Frenich on that earlier occasion did a nice little turn and was able to force himself out of danger. I see Tokyo doing that really well. They're just slowly condensing the play, closing off the passing options, but full credit to Perth Glory. They're aiming to continue to play out of the back. Haven't seen much joy from it, but certainly aiming to maintain their composure.
Moroya couldn't keep it alive, but he's shown good defensive abilities, Moroya. That's a little bit short. Joel Chiangrai was closing in on that. Then he's nearly closing in. It might break to Formaroli. Murashige did just enough. So pressing is the buzzword of this opening 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's been impressive from both sides. And Perth Glory just quite comfortable to retreat when they've had their little go of trying to win the ball back earlier and further up the park. Just retreat deeper, just close the passing lines, make it really compact.
Michela, trusted Kilkenny, Popovic, trust Worthrick. First time they've really gone long and they give the ball away. Up for by Agawa, Idaleton, lovely spin and turn. Took him away from Michela. Takahagi. Sliding challenge from Hashimoto. Good support coming from Leandro, who stays on his feet. Leandro drives forward. The ball put in, and lovely run from Oliveira and tracked. I think it's Alex Grant who gets the tackle in, PJ Roberts.
Desperate tackle as well. What a superb turn here from Oliveira. We'll see the ball's played in, and just first time just clips it in behind himself. So here's the turn here. Delightful turn, races onto it, and Grant does do tremendously well defensively to block that.
Michela, my mistake. Tomislav Michela had to get that block in. Has a second AFC Champions League goal of the campaign for Diego Oliveira. Dead Leandro with the corner. Hoists it high to the back post. Diego up there, and I'll bring in the old zonal versus man-to-man marking, because he's got a run at the ball, has Diego Oliveira there, PJ.
Well, he's at the back post, and the ball is flighted up towards that area. His physical presence and his ability in the air, you'd almost want him being a little bit more central. He's hitting that central near post area with real pace on the ball. They do have excellent options from set pieces. A real threat with 80 balls into the box. Can we see FC Tokyo just on this occasion just really comfortable pressing in those areas? It's where Perth Glory get into that midfield area where they're just finding it really difficult to hold on to the ball.
And sense of action be as fluent that. Castro gives the ball away, frustrated that Chiangrai wasn't won back by Franic. Popovic and Kilkenny. just to keep the ball rolling. Kenny again finds a little bit of space. 14-time cap by Australia. Neil Kilkenny. Castro out to Flanagan. Kenny drive forward. Tunisia available to the penalty area. Castro, lovely movement offside against Eze. But that was what, 12, 13, 15 passes or so.
Good build-up play down that right-hand side. So this occasion, very tight. Very tight. This one was perfect position. Castro aiming to hold the ball up. Marginally probably a little longer than he would have liked. Forcing Chiangrai to drift into that offside position. Showing some reasonable signs of promise when they do the ball into those attacking areas. Perth Glory. See Castro just starting to get onto the ball a little bit more. Fornaroli not as much as he or Tony Popovic would have certainly liked at this stage of the game. It's a really rugged game in the middle of the park now, a real midfield battle.
And Ailton dropping a little bit deeper. Maroya and Ailton. One of those games where you've got to earn the right to play. Zagawa finds Leandro. He's dropping deeper. Ailton's dropping deeper. Diego, Leandro, push it out wide. Maroya, 4 in the penalty area. Maroya lifts it up, and again it's Ailton with the header. And a look of angst on his face, because that's a quarter chance, PJ.
It certainly is once again. Maroya with a pinpoint accurate delivery. Very accurate delivery. He's just able to get over top of it. Good pace and shape on the deliveries. They do look threatening from those areas, particularly Maroya with his quality on the ball. Whipping it in, he's got good options.
Nagawa, Harvey, Hashimoto. Starting things this time for Watanabe to pick out the aforementioned Maroya. 25.5 minutes played. FC Tokyo 0, Perth Glory 0. Tokyo had more corners, more shots. Possession stats about the same, but he has really been able to take this game by the scruff of the neck. It's largely midfield as we're seeing it. Ailton just eased away by Alcott.
That's a good point, Des. Popovic, the tactical discipline it does in the team, particularly defensively. See how drilled they are. Specific fitness, organisation, league. Truly into a season, so you can see quite clearly how well organised they are. It is going to be a real key element of success for Perth Glory, is their ability to create opportunities when they are in possession, to maintain that same defensive solidity, but to be able to retain a little bit more possession to create a few more chances going forward. I will expect FC Tokyo to also really build into this game. The season hasn't started, so they're really into the early stages of their season, so I certainly expect them to get stronger and stronger as the game goes on.
FC Seoul versus Melbourne victory, and Chiangrai United against Beijing Guan, the other AFC Champions League matches tonight. This is hoisted in, looking for Michaela. Rose up really well, and PJ Roberts alongside me is saying, why didn't you come back across goal, Tomislav?
That's what he was aiming to do. You can see the reaction of his teammates as well. He just needs to nod it back. He's got into that position. He's done brilliantly. Wrong decision. Had bodies in the box. Really difficult to defend against when you've got that diagonal ball to the back post. Then it's nodded back into play. As a defender, you're wanting to watch the light of the ball, see where the ball's going to go. You're aiming to track your runner as well.
Which about something would still be going on about that. Not going back across the face of goal, would he?
I think he's a little bit of sign language to my commentary there. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what he was referring to. You work on those on the training ground. You know, you've got good options from set piece with big height, Charlie Grant, Worthridge as well. They're going to win many headers and probability stakes. So when you get a good delivery like that and you get teammates making runs for that second phase ball, something simple like that as a central defender nodding it back into play is brushing your teeth for that. And that sense of frustration certainly came out for Popovic then.
PJ Roberts, former Perth glory and Malaysia and Singapore pro player, with the analysis of the AFC Champions League group stage match day 2 contest. Goalless at the moment as Takahagi leaves the ball behind. Vanic. Hayashi slightly misjudged that. It looked like there was a cross, but it was maybe just too far under the ball. Safety first from Akihiro Hayashi.
He's misread it. You'd expect him just to collect that quite easily, but just whipped it in. Hayashi's just gone for safety first, and can't blame him. Although Perth Glory are certainly a threat from the set piece as well, as we've witnessed FC Tokyo.
Castro short. Kilkenny. He's it to Machela. Again looking for the far post, claiming the corner. It did look like there was a deflection.
Yeah, it certainly did. Machela again at that back post. Good delivery. Castro and Kilkenny. He's just whipped it in.
Watanabe doing enough. Even though the corner wasn't given, that's top draw defending.
It is very good defending.
Morishige. Now to Takahagi. Watanabe. Hayashi. Little wedge shot into the rough.
It didn't look comfortable whatsoever.
The pitch looks a little bit bobbly. To give the goalkeeper some defence, you want to be cautious.
I want to agree with you there, Des.
Okay.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
That's me told off, everybody. As Popovic.
Not at all, Des.
Worthridge. Kim. Second chance for Kim. And he's just into traffic. Takahagi does well. Played out by Leandro. Diego rather isolated.
It's got a good edge to it this game now. 30 minutes has crept over. Perth Glory just starting to work their way into the game. But again, FC Tokyo defending, loving the fact that both teams, when the occasion is right, are defending high up the park.
Dalton trying to win the ball back against Ivan Franic, and does indeed win the throw. It is like a vice. They just slowly squeeze up like a python. Adeilton. It was over Worthridge, but not over Machela. He picked up a yellow card earlier on. But at the other end, he's had 2 decent opportunities. Franic looks down the side. Agawa read that too easily. Just out of play. Agawa disagrees.
Hey, Castro starting to get on the ball in the middle of the park. It's getting quite stretched in that midfield area. We see with both teams aiming to defend high up the park, and the ball back is creating a little bit more space in that midfield area. Castro in particular starting to see a little bit more of the ball.
Driving forward is Hashimoto. Kilkenny read that one. Castro just makes himself available in the little spaces, does Diego Castro. Pomeroli. Franic. Pomeroli's dummy. Castro couldn't get there. Leandro can come away with the ball for FC Tokyo. Moroya looks ahead though, and there's nobody in a blue and red shirt ahead of him.
This game's being played like it's the latter stages of the second half. Really open. Both teams very proactive in their approach to this game, wanting to get bodies forward.
Diego. Gawa goes down by Chinese. Takahagi. Abe. Diego. Thought of the shot and eventually bloomed the shot along with the top.
That's frustration. Perth Glory, you can see just defensively are almost urging him to shoot from that distance. Defensively, it's almost a little bit of a small win when your opposition feels though they need to shoot from that distance. Oliveira, as you see, is drifting a little bit further wide to look at trying to pick up ball as well. There's that high press again. Just gradually.
Ailton closes down on Michela. That's a lovely ball out to Franic. Kilkenny. Good youth football for England and Ireland before winning Australian senior caps.
They were just warm-up games, Des. He's had a really impressive career, actually. What a wonderful adventure and journey he has had.
There's an arm over there, though, from Killer Kilkenny. Abe was just looking to nick the ball off him. Kilkenny raised the right elbow. There's no card, there's just a free kick.
D'Agostino on the bench. The heroes of Australian under-23s. The AFC under-23 championship, where
they fluked their way.
It's all about Tokyo Olympics, wasn't it?
It certainly was. This is one of the venues for the football in the Tokyo Olympics. Ailton. The front three just haven't been
brilliant
able to get in.
When you look at that, don't you? Back three for Perth Glory. Brazilian combination up top for FC Tokyo.
Takahagi. Moroya loses out. Kitsubian again has done well. Castro was giving the ball away. Takahagi. Now then, a chance to break here at Ailton. Outside of him, looking for Leandro. And Castro, who lost the ball initially, slaps it clear, only as far as Agawa. Well, that's how quickly a game can change. Agawa. Takahagi. Abe. Long wavelength with Leandro.
Well, Dalton just demonstrating how dangerous he can be when he's got a little bit of space to manoeuvre. Very direct, strong, powerful runner. Leandro certainly hasn't seen as much of the ball as he would have liked. Cigar will no doubt look forward to that half-time break where he's got the opportunity to reassess the way that his team has approached the game. Be a little bit disappointed the way that this half has evolved.
Diego against Kilkenny. Good strength from Diego de Oliveira. Plenty of white shirts back. Takahagi lifts it in. Long left foot of Alex Grant clears.
Takahagi, that's a good delivery. Deceptive. Low and hard to that near post area. You force your opponent into defending it.
misjudgment. Maria tries to capitalise. Subiam though. Not allowed to typecast really in the modern day, but Kim is the archetypical Korean, isn't he? Reliable. You know exactly what you're going to get. A 7 on 10 performance week in, week out.
You get the sense he can play him anywhere on the field and put in a very consistent shift.
Hashimoto. Again, the banks of players just ready to defend. Diego. Castro did well not to put in the challenge, and again, Moroya to the byline. Defender by Kilkenny.
A little bit more patience demonstrated there by FC Tokyo. Kilkenny doing well. You just see here, there's so many bodies in the box. There's minimal room in which to manoeuvre, but lovely 1-2. And Moroya getting to the byline.
Leandro, 6 in the penalty area, 2 lurking just outside. Again, going to the back post. And driven back. Comfortable for Liam Reddy. I think it was Kento Hashimoto renowned for his goal scoring. Indeed, Agawa it was, who has got a good left foot. The games going on tonight, being shown on the various Fox Sports networks. FC Seoul versus Melbourne Victory. An early goal for FC Seoul in the Korean capital. Chiangrai and Beijing Guam in that group, and they kick off at 8 o'clock Hong Kong time, Lumpur time, Singapore time. Abe pings it into Abe. I've liked Abe's work. Adeilton down the outside, faced by Werdrick. Adeilton. It's a quite break for Hashimoto. He finds Moroya. Plenty of blue shirts waiting for the ball in. Werdrick can't get there, and Adeilton. Desperate lunge is ready. Watch it drifts wide.
Yeah, look pretty comfortable already. It's a clever little play. Just clipping in behind that Glory defence. He's not a long way away from it. Moroya again, his distribution, this time on his left foot. So comfortable with his passing range. Very clever. It's been one of the best attacking outlets for FC Tokyo tonight, Moroya. His defensive wide back position, steps forward, comfortable taking it to the byline, cutting it in with his right foot or with his right foot from distance, just as equally comfortable cutting inside onto his left foot, driving passes as well.
4 corners to 1 for Tokyo. They've had 8 attempts on goal to 2. So once again, Hayashi eases the ball forward rather than strikes through it. Leandro, Adeilton, Leandro. Diego available, wanting it. Down the outside is Moroya, marauding. Great ball in once again to the near post. I see why he's your favourite.
Best player on the pitch at the moment. He's just back on the halfway line defending. Just see, breaks the line. Good pass as well, but again, just the incisiveness of his run, but also this cross. Just keep it simple, whip it low and hard to that near post area. Force your opponent into defending. He's not trying to whip it into the back post.
Diego, Eddie will come through a ruck and climb above Watanabe. It's a good take from the goalkeeper. But every single corner from this right-hand side, all 4 have gone to the back post. Tokyo have won every single first ball, PJ Roberts.
They are a threat. They certainly are a threat from set pieces and corners. The Oliveira in particular. Dilton, Leandro as well.
Do you worry if you lose the first ball so long as you win the second?
Depending if that first ball, where it is, obviously they've been to that back post area and they've been obviously around 5 or 6 yards out from that 6-yard box. So be too concerned about losing that one, but you're definitely 100% spot on. It is that second phase where you just don't know where it goes. It's difficult to defend against. You nod it back into the box and everything can happen so quickly. You can only be a couple of yards away from your opponent and they can get the edge on you. Easiest way is obviously not to give away the corners in the first place, and you don't need to worry about it.
Chela wins the throw-in. Again, the vice-like press from Tokyo. It's almost like a tidal wave coming in. There's pressure from the defenders, which pushes the midfielder, which pushes the forwards forward. There it is again. Takahagi.
Just all in unison. You can see that first line of defence is the attacker makes the run, and everyone follows suit afterwards.
Agawa. Maverick, the Swiss posing centre-back. Diego. Extravagant ball out to Moroya. Leandro. He hits the deck, and the assistant referee and the referee, both from the Oman, decided it was Leandro just trying to buy a free kick. PJ?
Well, Grant was pretty emphatic about his behaviour. Didn't certainly go to ground a little bit easier than he probably should have.
Approaching half-time. You can't call it a thriller, but you can call it absorbing.
It's been very, very tight contest. Absorbing is a good way to describe it, Des. We haven't seen any real clear quality chances, but we've seen intricacy tactically around the way that both teams have set up in this game. Really enjoying the high press from both teams on occasion. There's been good quality when in possession, aiming to try and release those attacking players that get some reasonable shots on goal, but both teams defensively have just been so robust and difficult to break down, almost cancelling each other out. But we have certainly seen enough quality on the pitch from both teams that when that opportunity comes, can they take it?
High line being held by Tokyo. Machela is the target. Machela can't quite get there. Good defending once again by Watanabe. Noah bangs it forward, looks for Abe. That's an awkward one for Reddy. Diego was trying to close him down, but Liam Reddy. Safety first. A tighter ground that's into the stands. So half-time whistle goes on an absorbing game. Diego Oliveira probably coming closest when he swept away from Machela, only for Machela to get the shot back. Morelli and Castro have led the line well for Perth Glory. They'll be relatively happy with the goalless first half, PJ Roberts.
I think it's been a good performance from both teams. FC Tokyo, for me, certainly larger room for improvement. Hasegawa will certainly have plenty to say at half-time, but it is an intriguing match, and we're certainly in for an exciting second half.
Second half will be coming up exclusively here on Fox Sports, but it's goalless at the Tokyo Stadium. Half-time, FC Tokyo 0, Perth Glory from Australia 0.
PJ Roberts and Des Corkill, your commentators this evening. A very disciplined, fairly cautious approach by both these teams at the Tokyo Stadium. Not a great deal for either of the two goalkeepers to do, but we could see this one open up a little more in the second half. But for now, at the break, it's FC Tokyo 0, Perth Glory 0.
Every day is better with friends.
At Stamford Bridge, the only constant is change. Chelsea legend Frank Lampard knows that more than most. Which begs the question,
can he succeed where others have failed?
Join the conversation on The John Banks Show.
Sporting art at its finest. Oh, it's just amazing.
So good, so tempered, so perfect.
This is turning into quite a performance. Lighting the crowd, embracing the occasion.
Absolutely sensational. That had a bit of everything in it.
It just gets better and better.
Hell yes.
Hold me.
I wanna be a cult leader. I'm gonna make you a believer. Follow me, follow me, follow me.
Surprise! They are real.
And that is what you are. I will burn this city to the ground.
Welcome back. It is halftime at the Tokyo Stadium, where it is goalless between the host, the FC Tokyo, and the debutants Perth Glory. But over in Seoul, as you can see there, the score reads FC Seoul 1, Melbourne victory 0. That match is ongoing right now on Fox Sports 2. So thanks so much for staying with us. So we're looking at that game between FC Tokyo and Perth Glory. As I mentioned, Perth Glory making their Champions League debut, and their first 45 minutes of Champions League football, I have to say, has been quite uneventful because it's currently 0-0 at the Tokyo Stadium. I've got Chiangrai and Chevy Singh in the studio with me. Chevy, what did you make of that first half?
I'd say, tactically, you got to give it to Glory. We are away from home. We have to be well organized in defense. We have to sit deep. We have to be disciplined, not to allow FC Tokyo to play through us. We'll take the chances from wide positions. And for FC Tokyo, I think what they need to sort out is, we need to play at a higher tempo. We're the home team. I think they have made inroads, but I just feel like, they still have to step up another gear if they want to get all 3 points.
Well, as Chevy just mentioned, they did make some inroads, and we're going to have a look at a couple of chances here by FC Tokyo. This one in the 21st minute. It was teed up by the man we were talking about, Leandro. Lovely little cross here to Diego Oliveira.
Yeah, I think what's important here is how limited his influence has been. Leandro, I'm talking about, in terms of, we touched on the fact before the game, getting into these areas, into central positions, receiving, being allowed to turn, and running at that defense. And that's something that they have done pretty well to make it compact in those areas, to get himself involved. Was a lovely bit of skill by Diego Oliveira, but that's good defending as well. Yes. He doesn't get sold by that little trick on the edge of the box. He tracks that run all the way, and he puts in a really good challenge in the end to deny him an opportunity. Yeah, FC Tokyo have also posed a threat from set pieces. Leandro taking a lot of those free kicks and aiming for the head of his compatriots inside the penalty box. Yeah, we've seen the likes of Adelton, Chevy getting up and being a big threat in these situations. Yeah, I wish there was a bit more innovation from situations like this. This is pretty straightforward, just knock it high and long and hope that one of our players gets to the ball rather than, let's play a short corner for once. Let's try to change it a bit. Let's aim for the near post instead of going for the far post all the time. People may say, well, they are doing well, but I just feel you need a little bit of variation when you come to set pieces. Yeah. Now, we've been talking a lot about FC Tokyo, and you've also mentioned you're quite impressed with
Perth Glory's defence. But going forward, they've had a couple of chances as well, Perth Glory. It takes a little bit of time for them to build up to those chances, Chevy. But we're going to see a couple of chances here from set pieces and crosses into the box as well.
I think, once again, it is a game of set pieces. And you really got to look at Marcela there and think, you're tall, you tower above but you've got to get accuracy behind your header. What do you want to do? What is your intention? Are you going for goal? Are you going to head it back? So a good set piece, but not enough thought behind that.
Yeah, I think one of the things with Perth Glory as well is defensively, they've been brilliant, very disciplined, very compact. I think with the ball, though, there are certain things that they can try and adjust, because there are a couple of situations where Castro has actually got into really good positions in behind FC Tokyo's midfield, but instead of sort of turning with the ball and then attacking FC Tokyo, they tend to slow the game down a little bit too much. Passes are going backwards, passes are going sideways. So their main opportunities have come from these set-piece situations. But, I like to see them a little bit more in the transitions. Maybe it's a tactic. Maybe it's deliberate by Popovic, saying that, we want to try and slow the game down as much as possible in the first half. Maybe we'll see them open up a little bit in the second. I mean, as far as things go, as cliches go, away from home, they always say if you get a point, you've done a good job. But there are situations where they can do a little bit better, I think, just to try and cause a bit more of a threat against FC Tokyo.
Yeah, you mentioned Diego Castro, number 17. He's the captain of Perth Glory, a very hard-working man on the pitch today for Perth Glory, Chevy.
I mean, what is really impressive is the fact that, he's the oldest player on the pitch at 37, but you look at his involvement, you talk about, being a forward, you talk about being a central midfielder, you talk about defensive work that he has done. I mean, last week, we drooled about Andres Iniesta in a creative way, but today, for me, I think, this Diego Castro has just been unbelievable. And with that kind of commitment, I think, Glory are on to a winner. So I cannot, we cannot fault Castro. It's just that I feel that in front of him, Chianese and Fornaroli have not given Glory anything. Okay,
so we're looking for a little bit more attacking impetus, perhaps, from Perth Glory in the second half. And we're looking at the bench. One name sticks out, Nicholas D'Agostino.
Yeah. Well, look, he's an option. He's someone who, in the AFC Under-23 Championships, has had a really good campaign, scoring 3 goals for Australia in there, looking nice and confident. And he hasn't played too much football for Perth Glory this season, up until this point, where he suddenly sort of came alive and showed us what he was all about. And perhaps he'll be given an opportunity, Shep, looking at how Perth Glory are a little bit too static in those attacking areas.
Exactly. In the second half now, FC Tokyo will come forward a bit more, but you need the pace to get behind them. Chianese hasn't provided that. Fornaroli hasn't provided that. D'Agostino has already shown at the Asian level. He has that dynamism. He's quick, he's sharp, So I would love to bring him on straight away, but I think Popovic may wait for the last 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay, we'll be heading back to the Tokyo Stadium in just a little while for the second half, but there is another game happening right now, and we're going to show you one highlight because we have a 1 goal at the Seoul World Cup Stadium, and it's the hosts who have taken the lead over Melbourne Victory. 8th minute, Park Chu-young on target here, Chevy.
Yes, indeed. Once again, I think there were mistakes made defensively on the left-hand side, but when you give someone a chance to cross, and that is a good cross, is there a dummy at the near post? Maybe, but Chu-young does really well.
Yeah, Chu-young, 34 years of age. It's been a really good evening so far for veterans of the game. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have the second half for you from the Tokyo Stadium, where it's currently FC Tokyo 0, Perth Glory 0. Don't go away. Stay with us on Fox Sports.
explosive.
What a way to score it.
The spectacular.
That was sheer brilliance.
And the downright bizarre.
What the heck was that? Oh, goodness me. It is extraordinary.
Only one place to catch them all.
What about that for a corker? Do not stop those.
Goals on Fox Sports.
Pep's treble, Jurgen's European triumph, Ollie's challenge, and Frank's return to the bridge. That's yesterday's news. We go again, looking ahead to a brand new football season. And through all the twists and turns, I'll be there to give my take. Trust me, there's going to be plenty to discuss.
The stats of a good driver. Oh, Matt Lucker. Yes. Lewis Hamilton. Like to take risks.
Roger Federer.
He can't believe what he's done. The Champions League. He's the world champion. Beautiful. Oh, he got hit. And that was the moment.
Very warm welcome back to our coverage of the AFC Champions League. Just seeing some first half highlights here from Perth Glory's visit to FC Tokyo. Goalless it is at half time. Precious few clear-cut chances created by either side. But the little highlights we saw there suggest that there are potential openings from the set play for Perth Glory. Whereas I'm sure we're going to see a little bit more intricacy from the Brazilian front trio for FC Tokyo. Former Perth Glory player and S-League and Malaysia League player PJ Roberts in the commentary. PJ, let's focus on FC Tokyo first. You made a comment at the end of the first half. There's more for them to improve on than there is for Perth Glory. What were you alluding to there?
I think a couple of aspects of their play. I think obviously it's very early in their overall season, so I do expect them to build momentum as they come into this game. But I think the fluidity in their play, particularly as they enter that attacking third, will improve. I think they've shown signs of it, but they're nowhere near at the level that they certainly should be at. And I also expect that midfield build-up play to improve as well. Perth Glory are tried and trusted. They've had a number of games already. You can see that match-specific fitness already shining through.
Diego Castro had a very good first half for Perth Glory. The Premiership champions, as they call them in Australia. They didn't win the postseason. It's their debut in the AFC Champions League, which one of the founding members and biggest clubs in Australian football comes a bit of a surprise, but they're the 8th Australian side to play at AFC Champions League level. And this their first match after the postponement for health reasons for the match against Shanghai. And they're on the attack here with Kim Seo-byun. He's got 2 in the penalty area. The Uruguayan former Oli is there, trying to pick it out. Arbe gets there first. Driving forward is Kilkenny. Kim Seo-byun. Christian Popovic, the teenage son of the coach. Onto Machela, who picked up a yellow card in the first half, and Grant outside to Kim. Grant, Castro. Gianese just couldn't get there. Left a foot in on both teams. Wholehearted player, Joel Gianese. This breaks to Moroshiga. Ogawa. Adeilton to his left. Here is the Brazilian Adeilton at pace. Thought he was just checked there by Greg Werthrick.
He really didn't fancy it. I'd like to see him just continue on, exploiting that space in behind the Glory defence. Something that FC Tokyo did look at doing in the early stages of that first half and found some joy. Didn't quite evolve like that as the game went on.
Diego Oliveira scored in the 1-1 draw against Ulsan. Gives the ball away there though. Popovic. Grant. Neatly played, Kilkenny. Castro, lovely first touch. Means he can play the ball out wide. Dalton, credit to the Brazilian, back defending. Trying to get forward now in support as Leandro picks out Dalton. Two in the penalty area, plenty of Perth players back. Dalton drives in towards the edge of the penalty area. Kim did well, and then Castro, who's got a free roll, is then dispossessed. Dalton finds Agawa. Leandro, Agawa. Arbe. Neat and tidy football. Dalton can't quite direct it back towards Leandro. Agawa, well, scoops it out like a rugby player, scrum half like there. Referee saw nothing untoward, maybe it was my aging eyes. Agawa, Takahagi, nice football. Dalton, faced by Franic. That curves out for a goal kick.
Well, there was a better passage of play defensively from FC Tokyo, just really squeezing Glory in their own half, forcing Glory to giving the ball away cheaply on a couple of occasions. Asagawa will certainly expect more from his team in the second half. Popovic will certainly hope for much of the same. He would certainly appreciate a little bit more threat on the transition. Glory haven't really created any clear-cut opportunities. Saying that though, of FC Tokyo.
Diego, lovely turn. Leandro, Diego's available. Doesn't quite get under control. Let's break out to Hashimoto. He forces Agawa wide. 4 blue shirts in the penalty area. 5 white shirts, and it's cleared by Tomislav Machela.
And that's a good delivery, difficult to defend. It's creeping in behind you. You're not sure of who's making a run behind you.
But nobody was, and therein lies a problem.
Exactly. Machela just forcing it out for a corner because he is very much unknown about the movement behind.
Machela again, imperious. They're a solid back three, aren't they, for Perth Glory? I am surprised that Tokyo haven't looked for an alternative route than the long high ball. Swerthrick then loses out to Dalton. Machela's in there. Swerthrick under pressure from Arbe. It's twice the little Arbe has felled the giant like Greg Swerthrick. He's had a terrific season after a slow start as Swerthrick, outstanding central defender.
They're a little bit deceiving, that back three. They do look physically imposing, but they are actually deceptively more mobile than what they initially appear, and they are comfortable on the ball as well.
Dalton. Just proving your point. Swerthrick happy to just take the ball out of the back four. Machela decides no nonsense. Liam Reddy says if everyone else is going to play football, then I'm going to try as well. Problem is, Liam, it's the second one he's plonked out of play under pressure. Throw into FC Tokyo. 6 minutes gone in the second half. Said it would likely be cagey for the opening 20 minutes. Lasted opening 45 minutes as Diego. Again, lovely turn. Dalton. Arbe deflected. That will spin out for a corner kick for FC Tokyo, who are on the front foot in this second half.
Oh, he does well. Deflection just making it dangerous, but just probing, getting the ball into dangerous areas.
Watanabe strides forward. He and Morishige, they're two centre-backs. Hashimoto and Dalton, who's won a couple of headers in there as well. Takahagi. That time they do go short. Buried it a little bit, and Agawa can look for and find a Daleton, who's closed down by Ivan Franjic. Abe. Agawa flags up for offside against Ryo Agawa, which is frustrating because he could see along the, well, I was going to call it the back four, but the back six as they pushed out. Director focusing on two of the big back three. There's Takahagi as he got the wherewithal to unlock that imposing defence as Machela drives it forward, offside against Joel Chianese. Let me give you the sides, haven't had much of a chance to do so far. For Perth Glory, Tony Popovic has Liam Reddy in goal, Greg Werthrick, Tomislav Machela, who picked up a yellow card in shot, and Alex Grant along the back. Ivan Franjic, Neil Kilkenny, Christian Popovic and Kim Subion along the middle with Joel Chianese and Diego Castro in support of the Uruguayan Bruno Formaroli. Here's Chianese, Kilkenny, Popovic. Just help forward. Kim Subion. Kilkenny. Franjic. Popovic and Franjic. Joel Chianese. Kim, it's all neat and tidy and very tight. Eventually Franjic puts it into the penalty area. Watanabe. A daisy cutter to clear with the diving header. Diego trying to pick out a Daleton, puts it out of play.
He's had a solid game. There's young Popovic in the middle of the park. Just really trying to control that area there with Kilkenny.
Werthrick. Nagawa's header. Abe, neat and tidy. Hashimoto, surrounded by white shirts, but picks out Abe. Abe was looking for Leandro. Leandro, to his credit, both he and Daleton have worked really hard down either side. They've helped defensively. They've been the first line of defence up front.
Yeah, certainly not finding joy when in possession. We look at the shots, 8-2. Look at those 8 shots. Again, nothing that looks too terrifying for Liam Reddy in goals. They certainly do, because though they are aiming to up the intensity a little bit more as they're wanting to take control of the game.
Kilkenny's handed out his rough treatment in his time. I'm sure he doesn't mind taking a little bit back as Tokyo begin to think about the changes to unlock this uncompromising Perth Glory defence. Daleton putting pressure on Machela. Machela, as a good centre-back should do, no risks, puts the ball out for a corner, which will be their 8th of the match. 3rd already in this second half. Again, Watanabe and Daleton and Morashiga available for Agawa to curl into. Daleton again is the man who is closest to getting there. Even Franjic doing a good job on the Brazilian.
He certainly had to as well. It was very tight, but Daleton once again. Franjic does well. Daleton, for me, needs to be a little bit more aggressive on this. He's just kind of held off a little bit. He needs to be much more aggressive.
Ogawa's trotted over to take the corner from the left-hand side. That one doesn't beat the front post. He'll have a second opportunity. Rather dipped on Joel Chiangrai. Corner number 9. Machela gets there and driven wastefully over by Yujiro Takahagi. If you're going to shoot from there, it's going to be one heck of an effort to find the back of the net.
Love that half volley. Just got it completely wrong.
And the change is probably the hardest working of the front three. Adeilton coming off. And Kazuya Kono comes on. Very different kind of a player, tricky, difficult to pick up. 22-year-old, just progressed up from the under-23 side. They do progress a lot of players from their junior sides to FC Tokyo. It is part of their club DNA. So Kono on the big stage and given the task maybe of a slightly change of shape as Takahagi moves into a number 10 role. I'll get you to comment on that, as that is back to Hayashi. Helped forward by Hashimoto, only as far as Kilkenny. Now then, Formeroli! It's into the side netting from the Uruguayan.
We just see Formeroli on that occasion just trying to manufacture space. Kilkenny just plays it into him, evades 2 sliding blocks just on this occasion, both players going to ground. It's just here where he would have been disappointed not to have hit the target. Does really well create that space, needs to hit the target.
Well, he'll say he hit the back of the net. Ooh, Wutherick lets that one drop.
Oh, brilliant play. Right on that occasion, superb first touch.
An hour played. First move made by former Japan international Kenta Hasegawa. He was a hard-running midfielder in his day. Popovic making himself available. Castro decides, nah, I won't challenge Watanabe in the air. And it might break to Kono. Tiny figure, 5'1". Takahagi, Kono. It certainly brought the crowd to life as Ogawa goes round the outside. Leandro, Ogawa, Kono has shifted from right to left, will run at his defender. And Kono can't get the better of Joel Chiangrai. Franjic, closed down by Kono. Leandro. Again, Kono sets it up and the block comes in. Neil Kilkenny doing a sterling job there to deny Abe. And now Perth have a chance to break themselves. Castro, where's the support? Slow in arriving, eventually Kilkenny is there. Got choice left or right, chooses Formeroli. Formeroli straight into the grateful gloves of Hayashi.
Formeroli again, so dangerous in those areas, just couldn't get enough purchase on his strike. Real end-to-end entertaining football at the moment.
And it's Moroya who's was injured and they found themselves short-handed. Let's talk about the influence of Kazuya Kono, and there's no foul there at all. from Kim, but Connor has come on and instantly invigorated the crowd, PJ Roberts, and that's invigorated the whole Tokyo aspect.
He's done very well. Just getting into those dangerous areas, seeing a lot of the ball. Just his link-up play has been exceptional. Real strong impact off the bench, just to really try and maintain that momentum and that intensity, particularly when in possession. Keep the ball moving. Keep recycling the ball, looking for that opening.
It's off Franjic. It'll be a throw into FC Tokyo. Ogawa. Hashimoto. Kono does well. Loose clearance. Invites Moroya to curl it one. It's beyond everybody.
Get Moroya. His delivery always threatening. Just marginally overhit that one, but incredibly dangerous. Kono coming on off the bench wearing the number 38. It's been a real live wire. Midfield area, just picking up the ball, linking up play, finding his teammates, just the conduit to keep the ball moving forward into dangerous areas. Always useful when the crowd enjoys it as well.
Thumping challenge from Moroshiga. Gianese thought it was an illegal thumping challenge and has gone down. Felt this one. This is a foul. Not given.
It certainly is a foul. He's a little bit bemused, and so he should be. Honestly, how does the referee miss that?
Alsau and Popovic had their moments in the spotlight in good pro careers.
Tony Popovic actually playing for a few years in Japan before he made his way over to England. The early years of the J-League.
J-League now beyond the quarter, a century old. Remember all the hype when it first started. It's now a mature league. Finding some super teams. Agawa strides forward. Werthrick does well and then breaks to Arbe. Got there just before Christian Popovic.
Arbe had to pounce on it very quickly. Ball rebounded out to the edge of the 18-yard box. Just getting this down. Swung his foot at it. Got it all wrong.
Hashimoto on Castro. Second half possessional stats nearly 60-40 in favour of the home side. Kono. Lively. Finds Leandro. Leandro faced by a wall of white. Deflected over for another corner. Perth Gloria adamant that Diego Oliveira was offside when the pass was received to him by Leandro.
De Oliveira on that occasion just keeping it simple, having a touch, having a shot.
Defenders defend with arms clasped behind their backs these days. Still the choir gives their support. Watanabe in there, Moroshiga in there. Again, 6 to aim for. Lovely whip header, and they can't pull it back in. I think it was Moroshiga at the near post who drove in. And at the far post, Takahagi unable to capitalise.
Well, it's a clever little flick on. Ball that near post. Goodness, that's an awful lot closer than what it initially appeared.
Popovic. Castro. Ivan Franjic. And again, space to cross, two in the penalty area. It's over for Maroli. Moroya's first touch was exquisite. And his second plays the ball into Kazuya Kono. Diego Oliveira looks to get a shot away if he can. Instead finds Ogawa. That's blocked. There's just too many white shirts there. Ivan Franjic heel with the block. Ogawa. Second chance for Ogawa. Little dink over the top and blade of grass trips Ababe.
It's difficult. It's played in behind, charging onto it at pace. Difficult to keep the ball down, keep it into play.
Got to confess, I've been a little bit disappointed by Perth Glory's lack of ambition in this second half.
Yeah, agreed. They've certainly been on the back foot. FC Tokyo just raising the intensity, defending high up the park, breaking play down when Perth Glory are aiming to work their way forward. Just a bit stuck in a rut at the moment, Perth Glory. FC Tokyo really starting to get a stranglehold on this game.
Particularly since the change. Hilton going off, strong runner, replaced by the trickery of Kono. And the response is going to be a change for Perth. Nicholas Agostino, the latest boy wonder to come out of Australia. Castro, 36 years young. Castro, not the intended finish for him.
Thinking that it was a corner kick. Seem as though I've got a slight deflection.
Indeed. "20 minutes to make an impact, and thrill that does also Perth Glory fans, as the Aussies have a corner and a real threat. They go short, which is possibly the wrong option, because there's a potential breakout. Now then, Diego's lost it. Takahagi. Oh, superb from Abe. And then having made a miraculous ball control, he then loses out. Ginese loses out himself. Now then, Kono. Worthrick steps in beautifully and then loses out to Abe. Takahagi outside of him. You've got Leandro. Kilkenny, then by Castro. The most attack-minded player, playing it right back at the moment, Perth Glory's Diego Castro. Kono, Ogawa. Takahagi takes it on a pace. Worthwick clears. Abe just beaten to it by Christian Popovic. And Franjic belts it clear. There's only one player remotely up front, and that's Bruno Formaroli. 11 corners to 2. Nearly 60-40 possessional stats in the second half. It was a bit tighter in the first. Ogawa, but still no goals. Ogawa. Again, Worthrick does well. And Takahagi. That simulation. He's going to have a talking to, nothing more.
See the reaction here earlier on.
Same blade of grass that took out Arbe before. There's Arbe's earlier control.
Brilliant control. He is very special.
So the Agostino comes on for Joel Giannese.
It's promising that first half. Real lively runner. Certainly didn't see anywhere near as much of ball as he would have liked. As has that front three for Perth Glory. They've really had to dig in deep in this second half and really focus on their defensive duties. Agostino will certainly look to come on and aim to have a similar impact as Kone did for FC Tokyo, just to get on the ball, just to keep possession, bounce it back into midfield when the ball's played into his feet, and just aim to allow Perth Glory to have a little bit more possession in their attacking half. They've been starved of that at the moment.
Big Brimmer, central midfielder, also poised to come on for Perth Glory as another long ball is easily dealt with by Grant. Kilkenny on to Castro. Popovic, Castro. And again, the Spaniard. Free kick. Arbe penalised. There is going to be a change now for Perth Glory. There wasn't a lot of contact, but the referee is explaining there was just a pull on the arm. I think that's fair enough, and the change is going to be, as expected, Christian Popovic off, and the more experienced Jake Brimmer coming on.
He's had a good shift as young Popovic in the middle of the park. He certainly looks to come on and just to provide another layer of intensity in that midfield area. It's going to be a long, arduous remaining time in this game for Perth Glory. They're certainly being forced on the back foot. They'll be looking at trying to keep a little bit more possession and play a little bit more of the game in FC Tokyo's half.
Well, Brimmer immediately interested in the free kick. So you've got the experienced Castro or the less experienced Brimmer interested. Ball being told to move back another half a metre. Behind the Diego Castro. Straight into the wall.
It's all a bit of an anticlimax.
Brimmer's first contribution is to play the ball into Leandro inadvertently. Diego. Well defended, Neil Kilkenny. The London twang. Magawa. Looks for Takahagi.
Takahagi unorthodox on the header. He just seemed to overrun it, and all of a sudden he's found himself with his back towards goal and just aimed to kind of flick it on behind himself. Clever little attempt. Well, it really is down to FC Tokyo to unlock the deadlock. They're dominating in all areas of the park at the moment.
Kim Soo-byun, though, coming the other way. Castro. Lovely ball out to Franick. Claims for a handball by Ivan Franick. Referee not interested. Wernrick, who's been outstanding.
De Oliveira hasn't had a lot of room to move. We'll see Franic from this ball from Castro. He's aimed to take it early. He's mishit it.
Can't give that. Didn't give that.
Well, certainly seen them given for potentially can appear an awful lot worse than that.
Former Perth Glory midfielder PJ Roberts with the analysis of today's game. Ironically, on the halfway line, Takahagi, for a less obvious handball, he's penalised.
Exactly. I'm not even quite sure what a handball is these days. VAR, have a look at it, and I'm still slightly perplexed in some of these decisions.
Takahagi, Leandro. Do you see a goal in this game, PJ Roberts?
Oh, I'd like to say yes, Des, but the way that both teams have kind of nullified each other in defence, we thought with that pressing, the openness that we were starting to see in the middle of the park, we'd start to see a few more opportunities, but both teams have just been resolute defensively and just haven't given each other a sniff. So still enough time to go in this game, and you do expect if there is one good chance that there's enough quality on the park for someone to take it.
Here's Kono, trying to manufacture a bit of brilliance. Kono took on his player. Alex wins a corner kick. We're into double digits now,
Kono,
beyond
brilliant.
double digits.
This just stands him up one-on-one. All of Grant's long legs needing to sneak in there. There's that moment of brilliance. You're just expecting, almost wanting, urging someone to get on the ball and create a little moment of brilliance. The game's really yearning for it.
Change of tactic. Kono drives near post. Again, Taylor did just enough. Agawa. Machela in there. Breaks for Kim Subian. FC Tokyo have made the round of 16 in both of their previous AFC Champions League appearances. And arguably this is the best team they've ever put into the Champions League, as Agawa denied by a stunningly good Worthrick sliding challenge.
You can just see that they're just a little bit rusty going forward. Defensively, very solid, giving very little away, but just get forward, that fluidity of their play is not quite there.
Season start to the weekend, long range shot. Liam Reddy dives, but knew was always going wide as Moroya, who's had a quieter second half, the first half, the marauding fullback.
He was brilliant in that first half. Absolutely brilliant. His ability to get forward. Always difficult to defend when you've got an overlapping wide fullback who's going to track the runner. He did find himself in space on a number of occasions, and his distribution into the box was exceptional. That's exactly what Takahagi has been brought on for. Collecting the ball to his feet, showing forward, just drawing a foul, allows Perth Glory to shift players forward, aim to keep some possession in their opponent's half. Castro's got to be stronger on the ball there.
Kono again just looks to jink inside onto his left foot. Moroshiga had made a run forward, the centre back, and he's stayed up front as Moroshiga. Moroya, Kono. Hashimoto, second chance. Takahagi, Moroya's ball, dealt with by Franic. Leandro has a chance to maybe stand up Ivan Franic. Instead finds Hashimoto. Leandro, bit of space. Leandro! What a goal! What a strike from Leandro! 81st minute. Tokyo, that late lead, courtesy a stunning strike.
Brilliant finish, absolutely brilliant. The game was yearning out for some absolute quality around the 18-yard box. Leandro, who sees initially involved in the build-up play, just holds his run on the edge of the box, gets it out of his feet, and then just clips it into that far post. There's not an awful lot of pace on this strike, just tremendous accuracy. As he clips it up there, it did seem as though it got a little deflection that just helped it on its way over Liam Reddy. Off D'Agostino's thigh, but brilliant finish nevertheless.
26-year-old was good enough to make one Brazilian full international appearance. And he showed exactly why there. That's a stunning strike. You could see he was chasing it, but the execution, astonishingly good. Now then, completely different game. This final 8 minutes for Perth Glory. They've been able to sit back, make life difficult. It worked for 81.5 minutes until the Venezuelan-born Brazilian international scored this.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely superb. Something helped on its way just by that little deflection, which just eluded him ready in goals. The Perth Glory, the remaining minutes of this half certainly aimed to create an opportunity for themselves. They haven't had enough clear-cut opportunities. Not really necessarily from a desire to sit back and absorb. They just haven't been able to get enough possession and force their way forward.
So Perth Glory's AFC Champions League debut at the moment could end in defeat. And it might mean 4 points out of 6 for Tokyo. Win at home, lose away, has a draw away. That's the way you're going to guarantee yourself a place in the knockout stages, the round of 16. Grant, D'Agostino, Kilkenny, Brimmer, touch from Fumaroli. Hayashi. There's only been one attempt on target by Perth Glory. Kim over the top. Morashiga. That's poor defending. Bruno Fumaroli looking to spin and turn. There will be a corner kick for Perth Glory.
Well, that's been the real challenge, Des, just creating opportunities for Perth Glory. They'll look to certainly take advantage of a set piece. Good options, the likes of Grant in particular. I expect all central defenders to step up and support Marcella with Rick as well.
So Michela's up there, Grant in the middle, Worthrick. D'Agostino making life difficult as well for the goalkeeper. Michela beaten in the air by Morashiga. It'll come straight back, I think, though, from Ivan Franjic. Now Hayashi's got to be cool and is confident under the high ball. Abe. Hashimoto. Leandro. Now, of course, full of running. Little step over. Tries to win the ball on the edge of the penalty area. Brimmer did just enough. Kilkenny. What's the options for Neil Kilkenny? To bundle his way into earning a foul is the option that he takes.
It's actually a really clever breakdown of play. FC Tokyo, as we have seen, have got stronger and stronger as this game has gone on.
Castro. Free kick. Pomeroli brought down, and this is a little closer to goal. This is what you would call a genuine shooting chance from the free kick for Perth Glory.
This is where Fornaroli is at his very best. That is just very naive. You don't need to get that close. You know that Fornaroli is going to be looking for a foul. He uses his strength very well, but it does give them an opportunity from a reasonable position.
Watanabe is a young defender, just 23, and showing that little bit of inexperience there. As you say, be strong, but don't put in a foot. Don't give the referee a chance to give the free kick. And Bruno and Brimmer are lining this one up, a four-man wall, and just to make sure that they don't go underneath the wall, there's an interesting build-up. It's into the top of the wall. Oh, that's a strong challenge from Jake Brimmer. Diego felt that.
That's a correct decision. Referee has made there. Brimmer, it's not a eyes on the ball whatsoever.
Not much sympathy there from Raku Baki, the Omani referee. He reckons it's a foul, but I don't know, he's turned away from the ball, Jake Brimmer.
You certainly can't blame anyone for throwing yourself at those 50-50, 60-40, 70-30 challenges in the dying minutes of a game when you're chasing the game.
He was at Liverpool as a kid, was Brimmer, spent some time. And a change now as Diego Oliveira is to be replaced. And it's a defensive change. The Lebanese Duan Omari comes on. A new signing this season. And I think it tells you that Kenta Hasegawa says 1-0 will do us very nicely. We'll try and hold on for the remaining 2 minutes plus time to be added on. And even Franjic is taken off as well, to be replaced by another Popovic. This is the 16-year-old Gabriel Popovic. Well, nothing like a bit of big game experience. You're 1-0 down, a couple of minutes to go away from home. Come on, son, literally, see what you can do. To the final minute of the 90. 1-0 the score. A wonderful, wonderful goal from Leandro. Three minutes for Perth Glory to try to take something out of their AFC Champions League debut as Kilkenny slides away from one challenge and another, eventually smuggles it out. Popovic has moved to the left-hand side. Castro, there's a handball there against Hashimoto. Castro wants to get on with it quickly. Happy to defend for the most part for the first 80 minutes, Perth. Castro. Kim. Castro. Brimmer. Castro. Kim, 4 to aim for. Kim tries to pick out Castro.
Castro obviously very heavily marked again. You can see what an important player is for Perth Glory, but just on that occasion where there's not a lot left in the game, really trying to work it into the box a little bit earlier.
Really good performance from Shuto Abe, to be replaced by Kyosuke Tagawa. Easy to pick out with the non-natural blonde hair. Maybe it is. Four points out of 6 is a lovely return from an away match against Ulsan and your first home game.
It's a great return. And your domestic season hasn't even started yet. Outstanding return. See, Tokyo will certainly get stronger as the group stage goes on.
Majela steps in. Popovic can't hold on to the ball. And the flag is up for offside. Referee blows the whistle. We're into the final 45 seconds now for Perth. Popovic was brought on as a focal point for long balls maybe being played forward. Instead, Worthrick still waiting for Majela. And it's short. Kono, his introduction really changed the game in favour of FC Tokyo. It really gave them a bit of impetus in this second half, PJ.
It certainly did. Excellent impact from the bench, getting on the ball lively. His link-up play, exactly as he's demonstrated there, has been brilliant.
He'll take it into the corner, Kono. And he's the last Tokyo player to touch the ball. And rather appropriate, a very good cameo half hour from Kazuya Kono. And a wonderful goal, Leandro. Mean that FC Tokyo are unbeaten after 2 matches in the AFC Champions League. They've dominated possession. They've had more shots. Hasegawa's team have been more adventurous than Popovic's Perth Glory, who sat back perhaps a little bit too much. PJ Robertson have paid the price, conceding a late goal in a 1-0 defeat.
Found it difficult in that second half. Perth Glory FC Tokyo just raising the intensity. Better field position and possession in dangerous areas. No real clear-cut opportunities from either team though, so plenty of areas for improvement from both teams.
But a brilliant winner from Leandro. That will be the headline as FC Tokyo make it 4 points out of 6. They've beaten Perth Glory by 1-0.
Thank you very much to Des Corkill and PJ Roberts. And my goodness, heartbreak in the end for Perth Glory. Their resistance broken in the 81st minute after that glorious strike by Leandro to hand Tokyo all 3 points at home. So they are now comfortably top of Group F on 4 points. Our next game, though, is from Group E. Beijing FC in their first start in this year's competition. They're in Thailand tonight to face Chiangrai United, the Thai League champions. We're going to take a quick break right now, but we'll be back with the first half from the power of Chiangrai Stadium.
Do you feel that?
This is terrifying and very nice.
I love you, Poppy.
You're my hero. You make my life an adventure.
Will you being my wife?
When it feels good, you shouldn't fight it. Can I kiss you?
Okay.
I love you.
Give me Fisherman's Friend. Sugar-free spearmint. Fisherman's Friend. Powerful, refreshing.
A delightfully chaotic Bundesliga. Oh, brilliantly done!
The AFC returns to our screens.
We have liftoff. And that's a massive goal. This is the main event.
Can you believe this?
Has done it again.
Chiangrai residents, and they here, of course, are in full view of Asian Champions League games for the very first time. Midweek matches will never be the same once again for the Chiangrai residents, because they will welcome the best of Asian football here at the Power of Chiangrai Stadium. And today it is the visit of Beijing Guoan, who are appearing in the Asian Champions League for the 9th year in a row. But it is a momentous occasion, John Wilkinson, for Chiangrai United, a special occasion for the Beatles, in fact, because they are here for the very first time. Last 2 years they were knocked out of the Asian Champions League qualifiers. This time they are finally there, and despite the fact that they lost 1-0 against Melbourne the last time out, still welcoming teams of this high caliber. Really a special occasion for these fans.
Yeah, what a wonderful moment it is, and what a beautiful part of Thailand it is as well. They've got enough experience throughout their starting 11 anyway. Almost said squad, not quite squad, but definitely their starting 11. They've got Korean internationals, they've got some Brazilian players, and they've got Thai internationals oozing through their starting 11. Is it going to be enough? I thought it would be enough against Melbourne last time out, but they got pipped and they didn't look very good.
Well, when your country is in its bleakest hours, you usually turn to your sporting heroes, and certainly the Chinese hope that the capital of China produces some of them tonight in the form of Beijing Guoan, who are the first Chinese team to play a competitive match since the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. These fans have been brave enough to travel. These players will be here, of course, performing right in front of their very own fans. How do you think the players from Beijing Guoan are feeling at the moment?
I think they're going to find it difficult to create their own atmosphere. They're probably trying to be as focused as possible, but I tell you what, this is a difficult stadium to come to. And the fans are incredibly vocal. The pitch is cut really close, always has been cut really tight, and it can ping around. And if a lot of these players aren't technically one and two touch players, they could get found out, because Chiangrai can pop the ball around in that midfield area.
Well, Beijing Guoan haven't really travelled very well in terms of the Asian Champions League. Out of 26 matches that they've played in this competition away from home, they've only won 4. One of them was last year, and it was in Thailand when they beat Buriram. In fact, they beat Buriram home and away. They played Thai teams twice already. Won 3 of the 4 matches. The only time they lost was in Thailand back in 2008 against Krung Thai Bank. That's a different Beijing Guoan side altogether. Last year they certainly overachieved, as some of them thought, and still it wasn't good enough to win the Chinese Super League title against Guangzhou Evergrande. In fact, they accrued their most ever number of points, 70 points. They had the most number of wins ever in their history. Still, though, they only finished second. At least they broke the monopoly of Guangzhou Evergrande and Shanghai SIPG. So they're here as second of the Chinese Super League. However, in the Asian Champions League, they've made it past the round of 16. In fact, in only 3 of the previous 8 editions, they make it past the group stages. Chiangrai want to have that feeling of making it past the group stages for the very first time in their debut appearance in the Asian Champions League. Fans taking their bow, and in a while they will be heard loud and proud to the rest of Asia, who will know the stadium and the power of Chiangrai. That's what the stadium's called. Just the one change that they make, and that's the defeat against Melbourne, and that's Shinapat Liao, the number 36, who was captain of the under-23 side, coming in, and he takes the place of Taska Srisai. But most of the goals come from the number 9, Bill, and most of the play comes from Pitawat Sukit Tamakun, the number 6, and he plays well. Usually Chiangrai United play well when the 2019 Thai League Player of the Year is in fine form, and there he is, the number 6, exchanging flags with Yu Dabao, who is the Beijing Guoan captain. Dropped at the tail end of last year with the coach Bruno Genesio, trying to just mix it up a little bit in terms of his defensive options. They don't have Kim Min-jae for tonight. He hasn't travelled with the team, so Dabao's defensive partner will be Yang Fan right at the back. And it's also a Champions League bow for the referee, Hana Hatap, who is officiating in the Champions League for the very first time. 4-4-2 for the coach Genesio for Beijing Guoan. And the surprise there is goalkeeper Hosen, who only one appearance last year, actually gets a start ahead of Wang Dehai, Zhou Dehai, I should say. And the other is the good news of Jonathan Vieira, the number 7, actually returning after very good loan spell at Las Palmas. Wang Ziming, the number 20, continues to deputize up front as we have a look at the substitutes. of course, Zhang Xita, the number 10, will be the player called upon by Genesio if they need some firepower off the bench.
Yeah, there is a little bit of firepower for both sides off the bench there. I'm just going through the Chiangrai United side. It's a very, very experienced side indeed. A lot of players in their 30s now. And Bill, probably I think that's the best name in football. I love that, imaginatively named Bill. He's been around the block, he's been everywhere, even had a stint over in China as well. Scored goals pretty much wherever he's been, he just doesn't stay very long. He was at Ratchaburi before going to Chiangrai, but they're going to be looking to him. I just hope Chiangrai, playing at home, they don't try and go back to front too quickly and try and get the ball to him too quickly. They're better than that. They can pop the ball around, and it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what type of physical shape Beijing are in. So if Chiangrai about them, they'll be trying to move the ball nice and quickly. Brinner there, we saw he can play central midfield in a holding defensive role or as a centre back. I prefer him in a central midfield holding role, but we're going to see tonight.
Well, Cedric Bakambu's last trip to Thailand was one that he'll remember for a long, long time. He scored a hat-trick against Buriram. In fact, he became the first player to score a hat-trick in the Asian Champions League last year. Unfortunately, didn't score for the other 5 games. He is one of those players that polarizes, can be infuriating, but at the same time can be explosive. And he's on form. Usually, the figures of players in green are as sprightly as he is. So here we go then. For the very first time, Asian Champions League football comes to the city of Chiang Rai here at the Power of Chiang Rai Stadium. And Beijing Guan playing in their first competitive match of the year. In fact, the first Chinese side to play a competitive game in 2020. That is their new coach, Bruno Genesio, from Lyon, of course. In the 4 seasons he was there, they never finished outside of the top 3, so he has got some plenty of experience in him.
Yeah, he has as well, and if he's in charge of Bakambu, who started his career in France, born in France, represents Congo, of course. Brought him in there, and he's a coach that likes to play a 4-2-3-1 initially, but we're thinking he's going to be playing like a 3-5-2 in this. That back 3 is going to be interesting to see just how tight the wing backs can get around them, because Chiang Rai do love to pop the ball down the sides. They love to be playing the ball into the channel. The pitch looks like it's been absolutely drenched, so the ball's going to be skidding around. So we're expecting some mistakes, Mark, but we always hope for a little bit more quality.
Chiang Rai players can tell the difference between these two sides. Beijing Guan trying to dust the rust, whereas Chiangrai United have already got their season up and running, having played in the Champions Cup, winning that one, played in the Asian Champions League, and played over the weekend as well, drawing against Samut Prakan. They're just biting into the tackles and a lot quicker to lose balls than Beijing Guan. Will just slowly bleed themselves into this game. Good movement up front by Sibakon. He's shackled, taken away, and that'll be a free kick for Beijing Guan. A little too eager on that challenge by Chayawat Turan.
Look here. Well, I think Brunon's a little bit unlucky there. Gets the ball. He's an absolute flyer, by the way. Really nice seeing him on that left-hand side. He is an out-and-out winger. I think he'll be cultivated eventually into a more central player. It's strange, Buran only got one national team cap. I find that a little bit strange. For someone with his pace, you would have thought there'd be some room for him on the international stage.
Jonathan Vieira, he is always nippy and so very difficult to stop when he's on the ball, dancing around the pitch. Cross inside was very well flighted. Everyone went near post though. Renato Augusto control the ball first time. That was absolutely brilliant. Doing an Augusto on Augusto. That was the number 6, Viti Watt. As we said earlier on at the start of the broadcast, if he plays well, usually Chiangrai United play well.
I feel a little bit sorry for Lee. He gets nutmegged and there's no contact whatsoever. Look, it's a bit of kidology, and you can see why Dubong's the captain, and he's been such a fantastic player. You need to get the ball to him, and I don't want to come too deep though. I want him a little bit further forward with the Watsa.
The ball that's played right through. Looking for the angle for the cross, which was not forthcoming. It was almost all in the way. Augusto has done well enough just to shape that pass and shape that body actually to look out for that pass on the wide side, which was Lile who was available, but he did the right thing, not passing out to Lile. used him as a decoy, shaped to shoot himself. Wasn't very good goal-scoring form last year. The 7th highest scorer in the Chinese Super League, Renato. Scored a goal in the Asian Champions League as well against Thai opposition Buriram.
Chiangrai should be okay from set pieces. The more physical sides from Southeast Asia. Certainly very aggressive. Thai Premier League. Aggressive against Melbourne as well, a little bit too much.
Yao Cheng goes short with the corner. Vieira looks for the angle. Just glided past his opponent as if he wasn't even there. But couldn't produce the cross at the end. Had a great loan spell at Las Palmas at the tail end of last year when he went to 10 goals in 13 matches in the 2nd division of Spanish football. Yao Cheng, those two number 8s clashing. A little too strong that time by Yao Cheng on Yongrei. That's Vitiwat Kun, who of course was the Thai League One Player of the Year last year. Kambu, that was good enough for Terming. Couldn't keep himself onside. Wang Tuming, 7 goals last year after not scoring in his first year at Beijing Guan, and very much a backup striker more than anything. Zhang Yuning usually gets the start, but Yuning was injured quite badly as well at the Under-23 Championships. So it might be him to carry the forwards the first half of this year.
But they're going to be playing a lot of those balls. And they're going to be asking Bill to be peeling off into there. Bill's going to have to get there early, though. 35 years of age, quite heavily set. Always has been throughout his career. It's not that he's put on much weight, he's always had it.
That is very clever. See the pass and the idea was right.
Yeah, Bill's given a thumbs up there. That's what he wants. He wants those early balls in behind. See already, Chiangrai have little interest in going and pressing the ball. Much prefer to just soak and counter.
Renato was making his 130th appearance for Beijing this evening. There's an influx of foreigners in the Chinese Super League. Been good and bad in terms of the reception. Some of them don't stay long, but Renato Augusto is certainly one of them, where you said, you know, that's a box ticked. Jiang Tao.
Lovely touch.
Vieira combining with Renato. Tackle had to be pure, and it was. Very smart indeed. Just
Lovely.
played out.
Oh man, that lovely little first time Cruyff turn there from Augusto. And that little link-up play with Vieira is going to be key, isn't it?
Well, let's see what he has. Genesio took charge of this Beijing side for the last 10 games last year. Took over from Roger Smith at the end of July, who had a very emotional farewell at the Beijing airport. Fans came out to receive him, say bye to him. Augusto very well covered that time by Inpan. Wonderfully cushioned by Vieira. Got past one but not the other.
Oh, wonderful tackle from Sibakorn. He has to be watching in between the lines there. Has to be very, very careful. Vieira just flitting in between the lines, just coming off the centre-backs, picking the ball up on the half-turn. That can spell a lot of danger for Chiangrai.
Well, after a very tentative opening from Beijing Guan, you'd have to say that the men in green are slowly settling into the game now. Biao Cheng is suddenly appearing in central midfield. He usually is more accustomed to that central role than out wide, but since Genesio's taken over, he has been given roles out wide, down the right-hand side and sometimes down the left. It's down the left tonight. Vieira trying to curl that one nicely into the path of Bakambu. Idea was right, couldn't get the finishing touch though. He'll get a corner.
In the end, I think he's fortunate in the corner, because I don't think this is on target. I don't think that's creeping in. Obviously, can't take any chances there. Napirak, acrobatically, just managed to tip that round the post. Warning sign for Chiangrai though. They were caught short, only 2 at the back. Staggered back line.
Tapao, the captain, has come right up. Man who started his career as a striker. So he certainly knows his way to goal. Renato. There's still players in the box waiting for a good delivery by the Brazilian. Went for the near post. Apirak was watching it all the way. A bit of slide rule shooting here. Doesn't really get hold of it. Apirak was on guard yet again. Fitiwat. It's good play by Sivakan. Fitiwat couldn't squeeze the ball through to Chayawat. So disappointing that mark. They're in such a terrific area just to keep the ball, just play an extra pass, be nice and confident on it. They weren't very confident at all against Melbourne. They need to calm down a little bit. Sometimes you think that players for Chiangrai believe they have less time than they do. Just need to settle down a little bit more. Jiang Tao asked to push forward. It's not the best of pass. Just trying to slide it down the line, hoping that the run was caught then from Li Ke. Here's Renato, who has been heavily involved in these early minutes. So to Vieira. Li Lei is the only Beijing Guan player to be included in the Chinese Super League Best 11 last year. Left fullback Li Lei. It's incredible, really, considering how well they did throughout the Super League. Only can get one player in there. Renato was their top scorer and top assister, so perhaps had some people on his side saying he should have been in, but lost his place to another Brazilian, Paulinho. In Roger Smith's reign, the Brazilian was playing almost as a left winger, but with Genesio, he's really put him right down to the fulcrum of the team. The axe is right there in the same way that he plays for the Brazilian national side. That quarterback role, which he absolutely loves. Yang Fan, who is a debutant in this Beijing Guan side. Not the best of passes then for Tapao, but he made something out of it, and Renato simply turns up the energy. And here they come now, Beijing Guan. Marauding down this right-hand side is Jiang Tao. Bakambu, they'd rather him inside the penalty box than wide outside, but he holds it up well enough. Biao Cheng in support, finds him. A pass that almost found its way all the way through to Vieira. But Tuming wasn't really paying much attention to it. Well, that was just really good play from Chiangrai. Really good play. Stood off, almost nicked it on the halfway line. And even when Beijing Guan got quite deep towards the attacking third, they closed the gaps, closed ranks really well. And without the ball, looking quite comfortable at the moment, Chiangrai. That can change very quickly, of course. Vieira has been so mobile throughout the opening 12 minutes of this match. He's been everywhere. So to this man, Renato. Bakambu was trying to come to life himself. Those three foreigners combining superbly well. Renato not too happy with the referee then. Biao Cheng outside to Jiang Tao. He's been asked to cross the ball because there are players inside the penalty box, including Bakambu. And that's a shot that just went narrowly wide from Vieira. Oh, fantastic 1 or 2 touch play. Even the coach was off his bench there. Thought that was just angling in. Really good play. I think that's always just bending wide. Perhaps that goalkeeper Barak just had that covered, but fantastic play. And you're right, Vieira's been involved, getting more involved as well. Just coming away from the edge of that 18-yard box, linking up. Well, it was pretty rigid under the former manager, Roger Smith. He was pretty critical of it, Vieira, resulting in him moving away on loan. Because didn't like the fact that he had to stick down that right-hand side, but with Genesio, it's almost as if he's playing a free role, and he's thriving. Renato is managing to squeeze it outside to Bakambu. Cedric finding room behind because the ball was going to be put out of play in the end. Injury to the 26, Chayat Buran. Well, Chayat Buran is going down as if he's been absolutely poleaxed by Uda Bao. And now he's got up and he's fine. There's no blood, nothing.
And I don't like that because, as far as I'm concerned, that's just cheating, unsportsmanlike, and makes you look a bit foolish.
Renato, Vieira, those two names mentioned more than any other throughout the night so far. Well, Hosen could have allowed the ball to run inside the penalty box before picking it up, but didn't look too convincing, did he?
Once again, that ball over the top, when you're playing against the back three, for Bill to just peel into, that really could bear fruit. Starting position, key.
Bill. Fitiwat trying to just hang it up there for the longest of times before someone attacks it. Chiangrai finally gets at the end of it. Surya trying to work Chiangrai into the game. Gets a throw at the end. Sivakon. Piatrakun. Tapao. Always there and always available. Renato didn't have support on the outside, decided to take it on all by himself. It's very good work by Sivakon. Brenner.
Well, our eyes are going to be drawn to Sivakon quite a lot, you feel. Not just because of the peroxide blonde hair, but he's going to have to get through a whole heap of work. That's a good-looking ball as well.
Yeah, it's very well done to keep it in play by Chotipata Pumkiao. They've asked for a corner, and I think they'll get a corner.
A lovely little passage of play, wasn't it, from Sivakon? That's what a midfielder's all about. Sometimes in modern football, midfielders are asked to do one singular job. Just hold, or just tackle, or just attack. Sivakon's a type of midfielder can do absolutely everything. Win it back, play forward culturally as well.
Well, after absorbing all the pressure from the green machine, and the orange come to life now. It's gone very deep. Bill, he's asked for handball. The referee says no.
Wow. Touch more fingers than a five-finger death punch. Bill's asking that it hit the hand twice. Initially, I thought it was a handball. He still can't believe it. Look at the look on his face.
Well, Jiang Tao couldn't get out of the way, but in this modern day of football, as long as it touches your hand inside the penalty box, it's usually given. So you'd have to say Beijing Guan got away with murder.
I think they got away with that, Mark, yeah. Yeah, big time.
It's the figure of Masami Taki, a Japanese who is very much the brainchild of the side. At 6, and Siripong, the Thai coach, is on the bench communicating with the players. Sivakon, that last cross was absolutely delicious. Can he put out another such as one? Hung up for a very long time. Bill attacked it, couldn't get to it. Vieira is the perfect person to lead the breakaway right now for Beijing Guan. Biao Cheng couldn't get it going, couldn't get it moving.
Well, we've just seen a little inkling of what Chiangrai are all about. Once this ball got into the box, there were green shirts throwing themselves at it, likewise orange.
Surya couldn't produce the angle, gets back from Chiangrai, not the best of touches from the former Korean international. And that's very composed by Renato, not so much the pass though, because it was very well read by Sivakon, who has been Chiangrai's star performer in this first half so far.
Yeah, been cool, hasn't he? Really cool. Broke things up. Positionally, I think he's been exceptional so far. Hasn't gone chasing.
Sarawut back to Sivakon. Slides it into space. Chiangrai, a runner on the outside. The Korean goes for goal. Goalkeeper makes a save, makes a hash out of it, and really should have been punished. But Bill couldn't take advantage of that spill by Hosen.
Two smart stops from Hosen. Initially, when the strike was on, I thought he should be passing it out wide to Buran. And that's just going in. Gets up quickly. Chiangrai played themselves into this game really well now. Good tempo as well.
this man's be at the heart of it all. Sivakorn, another very good corner. Much better defending this time. It's going to be a free kick to Beijing Guan, and that's all they ask for, a reprieve.
Well, that's what they need to do. If they don't win that first ball and manage to keep the ball inside the 18-yard box, if Beijing Guan try and break, Chiangrai are going to be looking to just commit a nice professional foul, just quick, and get back in position.
So worrying moments for Bruno Genesio. Here's Renato Augusto.
It's again Augusto and Vieira linking up, but just far too deep. I know they want to make something happen for their side, but just coming that deep is a bit of a waste.
Lille back to Renato. Usually initiates this attack at quarterback style, those long passes, but there isn't a lot of movement ahead of him. He's got to go square. Yang Fan to Dabao. Dabao once again just waiting for anyone to make that run up front away from the ball. Renato is the only one who is moving, and he is berating his teammates at the moment, asking if there's anybody who's even interested in moving off the ball to give the defenders some options. Lille, he's got Biao Cheng ahead of him, outside of him, decides to go all the way back to Vieira. Augusto making that run behind the defense. I think the referees brought it back for a free kick. Vieira was fouled after he had released the ball.
Yeah, I feel a little bit sorry for Sivakorn there, because the ball was there. It was there, and then it wasn't. And it's just that training legs that clipped him. Wasn't a lot in that, and the referee handled it well. He just basically saying to Sivakorn, just watch yourself, watch that trailing leg. A whole lot of ill intent.
So halfway through this first half, and Beijing Guan haven't scored. Now in 215 minutes of Asian Champions League football, they didn't score in the final two games. Last time they scored was against Buriram. Lille, Vieira always available, uses him. Lika trying to just dip it into space for the run-up by Kampu, but that was hit way too strong.
Yeah, didn't quite get it right, but that's on. That's certainly on. And that's a much better option than just playing it along the back constantly and allowing Chiangrai to get comfortable. And those are, if you're going to get it wrong big, overhit that. Don't sell that short. See if someone like Sivakorn picks that up, then they can launch an attack from the central area.
Renato, Biao Cheng, Jiang Tao, look at the space that they've given him just to measure this cross. If he gets it right, there are players in the box waiting for it. Very good defending yet again by Chiangrai. Trying to work it out on the breakaway, Fitiwadze. They just lost out the impetus of the attack, completely gone as Chotipat got on the ball.
Yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, Chotipat just physically just not capable there of keeping possession.
Vieira waited and waited, and that perfect pass right through, and that's the opening goal. Wang Ziming, who's been quiet throughout the night, but he sprung to life at the right time, and Beijing Guan take the lead.
We see it so often, don't we? Teams getting caught out in the transition from having to have not, and they just couldn't cope. They just couldn't cope with the pace. Couldn't fill the gaps quick enough on that right back area. Chitipat gave the ball away. It's an out-to-win run. No, Warren Shirt wanted to pick him up. Just couldn't organise themselves quick enough. Chiangrai. Terrific time, always a good time to score, but terrific time, just as Chiangrai were looking quite dangerous. Good finish, wasn't it? Nice and solid.
Ziming, the strong man, strong enough to hold the line and then finish it off. He scored the final goal of last year, and he scored the opening goal of 2020.
Not a hair out of place. extra points there.
So 1-0, Chiangrai looking for a hero, looking for someone to score their first goal in the Asian Champions League. In the main stages, they've of course scored the qualifying phases against Bali United, against Yangon over the last 2 years. Always one short. Shanghai SIPG knocking them out, of course, in 2018. Last year, knocked out on penalties by Senfrecha Hiroshima. Here they are finally in the main draw, but still to find a goal. Sivakon. Once again, on the breakaway, Brenner had to be very careful with the pass, and it was not only a clearance, but it was a very good pass as well. Leads the next counter-attack right now, led by captain Fitiwat Bill, trying to open the angle up for the shots. That's not the best of passes, though, from the number 9.
It's not a great run from Yong Rai either. There's no way he can receive the ball coming that. And now we haven't seen much of Yong Rai either. Korean international, well into his 30s now, vastly experienced.
We did talk about Beijing Guan, their very poor record in the Asian Champions League, going out of the group stages on 5 of the previous 8 occasions that they've been in this one. But if you look at the group that they've been in, they are in this year's competition. That's a lovely ball by Bill. Oh, should have done much better, Chaya Woods Buran.
Chaya knows he should have done a lot better. His first touch wasn't convincing enough. That's nowhere near target, is it? Just snatched at that. His eyes lit up. What a shame. Good play from Bill, though. Collected that ball on the half turn, so he collected with his back foot. Kind of thinking that Bill would have been better suited to that position.
Tapao got a challenge in just to deflect the shot out for a corner to Chiangrai. Sivakon's been taking the bulk of them. Yong Rai decides to step up to take this one now. It's very well defended by the goal scorer Zhu Ming. As we were talking about earlier on, you look at the group that they've been put in. Beijing Guan, John, they really should fancy themselves getting out of this. FC Seoul, Melbourne Victory and Chiangrai United.
Yeah, it's not the strongest group, certainly on this side of the draw. But I also thought that Chiangrai would fancy themselves to make some waves in this group as well. But they really needed to start better against Melbourne, get confidence. So many of these players, such confidence players.
Melbourne, by the way, lost by a goal to 0 earlier on against FC Seoul. That match in Korea. Sarawut, who had to come as a rescue act as Apirak came out to Brenner, lost that one in the end. Zhu Ming was on the loose. Renato. Jiang Tao asking for a free kick. The referee says play on. Looked at the assistant referee who says good call. Li Ke, Biao Cheng, Vieira wanted too much time on the ball. Closed down straight away by Li Yong Rai. And here is Renato yet again. Jiang Tao's asking for the ball to be played on the outside. Jiang Tao's made his run. Renato uses him as a decoy, plays in. Vieira! That's a good save by Apirak.
Well, it's a good strike from Vieira, but you can tell that's his swinger. Have a look here. Looked a little bit awkward, that strike. Do what? He's done nothing wrong so far. He had to make, I think, 3 stops.
Well, they've kept it alive, and they've kept it moving as well. Bill's dropped deep, hoping to bring a centre-back with him. No one came, though. And Chayawat's never going to get to that pass. And so far, so good for the first ever Frenchman to manage Beijing Guan, Bruno Genesio. Clever ball by Dabao. Biao Cheng, Vieira, Bakambu's managed to peel himself away from his marker, but he decides to go the other side to Ziming, who had made the run forward as well. Well, John, you talked about how rusty Beijing might be. Don't look too rusty, do they?
No. I still think they got a quite high ceiling. Do a lot better. I think Vieira needs to understand his position a little better. He's coming a little bit too deep. I think it's unnecessary, really. I can understand it. Sivakorn is having a really good game. I think he's trying to stay away from him a little bit. You know what attacking midfielders are like, especially when they come from Brazil. They're desperate for space. That's what they like. They love just having that space to pull the strings.
After half an hour, Beijing in the lead, but it's only 1-0 against Chiangrai United side, who have shown some flashes of attacking prowess up front. Lee Ke got away with one, not the other. Might lose the ball in a horrendous position. Chiangrai play this right. Yong Rei, support on the outside by Surya Singmui. Try to play it back to Yong Rei. Drilled right through, a chance right now for another shot to come right out. Oh, that was pretty close, wasn't it? A great effort by Chotipat Pumkiao.
I think it was Yong Rei who took the strike initially, and I thought that maybe he should have just played another pass. But as it's fallen to Zhong Rao, makes a little angle for himself. There's not a lot to shoot at. They wanted him to keep that down though and sting the palms of the goalkeeper. Had a couple of decent sighters, Chiangrai. Defensively, Beijing look far from sound. Now they've got some internationals along the back line there, but they don't look too steady at the moment. This back three, you feel, against a stronger opponent, they would have been picked apart.
Dabao pass was a little loose, but there wasn't anybody in orange trying to pick it up in the middle of the pitch. So here comes Renato Jiang Tao once again on the outside, overlapping. That's a brilliant ball inside to Vieira, totally air-kicked it.
And that's exactly where you want Vieira to be. Much better on the edge of that 18-yard box. Now it's really stretched. Only half an hour played, already really stretched.
Fituat trying to fit that one inside for run-off Chayawat. Olsen looked a lot more comfortable that time. Vieira, not the best of touches from him. Beijing side who hardly give away goals in the Chinese Super League last year on their travels. Just the 10 goals conceded in the CSL. Best team defensively away from home. But a lot of that was with their main Korean centre-back Kim Min-jae, who is missing in this game. He usually is the steal in this Beijing defense. Lee Ke, Bakambu, strong enough to hold it up first time, and that's a very clever ball inside of Biao Cheng. Sprinted away from danger. Renato Jiang Tao finally uses the right fullback. Everyone's gone near yet again. Two forwards making the same run, Ziming and Bakambu.
That's a terrific ball in. Running out of real estate, whipped a great ball in. He'd be well within his rights to ask some questions of his forwards, why they're not ending up on the end of that.
Fituat trying to work the 1-2. Chayawat just couldn't squeeze the ball through in time. It was well read by Dabao, who had seen it all the way through. And here is Renato yet again. So where does he get that third lung from, Renato Augusto? Lilei trying to hang that one up. Actually drilled it across, but Brenner was there. It's not the best of passes. A chance for the shots from Vieira. That's a very clever ball right through. It is Vieira right now. At the end of it's Bakambu. Well, it was a brilliant pass from Lee Ke. Faked the shot, went to Vieira, and really should have put it in for 2-0.
Well, he's shaped to strike the ball. Loads of disguise on this. Vieira's been in a couple of good positions in the last 5 minutes. Fluffed his lines every single time. Not seen much of Bakumbo, have we? But he almost got on the end of that.
Vieira, who has already set up the opening goal of the night, trying to set this one up for his captain, Tapao, who will be the main target, but not with a ball like that, lacking in elevation totally. Not the best pass outs though, it's easily kept by Yang Fan. Chotipat probably has Chiangrai United's best chance of the game so far. It's an early substitution, and Biao Cheng doesn't look too happy at all coming out.
Well, he's limping as well, Biao Cheng. It's disappointing. He's just touching his hamstring.
Che Zhongguo, who was one of the starters last year in the Asian Champions League for Beijing Guan.
It's a good sign, doing your hamstring so early on in the season. Conditioning obviously not great.
One Korean-born Chinese coming in for another. Sitting in right to the heart of midfield. Ball's played right through. That's a very clever ball. It's played in behind the defense. Bill was there lurking, but so too was the very, very alert Lilei.
It's Burano. No, it's right. Whipping that in there. You've got to ask questions. Why is Bill not throwing himself at it? Why is he not in a better position there? He's got to get across his defender.
46 goals in 1.5 years for Chiangrai. And now they're wishing that number 47 will come in front of his fans in Asia's biggest club competition. Siva Khan floating it to the far post yet again. Jiang Tao just managing to get a frolic to it. Yong Rei, who is making his 20th appearance in this competition. At 10, of course, for Suwon Samsung Blue Wings at the start of the last decade. That is a very good delivery yet again. Bakambu, though, at the back clearing it. Fans wanted handball. The referee was never interested. Yong Rei trying to open the angle up for the cross. That's a brilliant delivery yet again from the Korean.
That's two fantastic deliveries, right on the money. First from the corner with his left peg, and then slinging it in with his less favoured right. Look at this, right on the money. Fortunately, the runs are not great. Bill's already in too early. Sarawet likewise. Score a lot of goals, Sarawet, of course. Well in this game, Chiangrai. Beijing have taken their foot off the gas.
If the referee's being a little bit of a fuss budget there because the ball was oscillating and he's saying let's take it all over again. Wants it totally dead. Hosen is in his 9th year in his club from the youth system. It's a US first choice.
Sarawet just giving away a foul there. It's just a push, really. No malice, no elbows.
Zuming, the man, of course, who flexed his muscles after scoring, doesn't look too strong here. Falling down rather easily, Wang Zuming. Well, at least Genesio knows that he has a good backup plan in terms of a striker with Tang Yunning out probably the first half of this year. Wang Zuming looks all set and ready to take over that position and fill in his boots. Bakambu will always be there scoring goals. Finished the season very well last year with 4 in his last 4 games. He's asked for the ball from the outside. been on the periphery of things in this first half so far. Bakambu, not so much. Renato has gotten involved yet again. Vieira trying to just reverse that pass inside into the path of Bakambu. At the end, decided not to, in case Congolese had strayed offside. Dabao. Olsen. That didn't look convincing at all from Olsen. Challenge was good enough. Here comes Ziming. Bakambu. Superb tackle. Absolutely brilliant by Shinafat Liao. Zhongguo. He's just been on the pitch for the last 4 minutes and does exactly that. Different sort of player from Biaocheng, who loves running down the lines and really more of a box-to-box player, but Zhongguo loves just playing it defensively. Given a gusto, Renato, more forward-looking role as well since his arrival. Renato finds Vieira. Bakambu trying to relay the ball right back. Zhongguo is biting into the challenge, but loses out on that one. And it's very well worked that time by Sivakon Tiatrakun.
Yeah, had to be a booking there. Nika knew exactly what he was doing. Sivakon winning the ball back yet again, and then taking the pressure off his defence, getting the foul. So many things he's done already this evening, Sivakon, trying to take it quickly.
Brenner drilling it to his right wing back, and that's a very disappointing pass. Lika very easily just marshals that one out of play.
Well, it's a ball that they haven't played nearly enough. They played it, I think that's the third time. They've got a couple of corners from that already. A little ball over the top. Every single side you play against, no side wants to run back towards their own goal. No defenders enjoy it.
Renato, Bakambu has sprinted clear. Shinafat once again, right place, right time.
Way there. Yeah, it was just a little foul on Lika. Bakambu nearly in though. Good run from him. Stayed on side.
Inside to Zhongguo. Player free on the wide is Li Ke. Jiang Tao turning away from danger. Bakambu took it well enough. Couldn't squeeze the cross out of it to Ziming. Wins a corner off Shinafat Liao. So up come the big boys. Lilei, Renato, Dabao, belated arrival. Bakambu always inside. Searching for his 40th goal for Beijing Guan. Bakambu. Renato got it all wrong.
That's a difficult height for him. He's coming down waist height. He has to snatch at it quickly. He's got Chiangrai just in front of him. It's the first time I can remember Beijing putting the ball in early from a corner. They have been trying to work these short corners that haven't really worked out for them. Look at this high press from Beijing now.
Because of that, Sarah Woods was forced to hit that one long, and Beijing winning the second ball yet again. Renato, that was a brilliant touch, just killed that ball instantaneously, but very well worked by Sivakon to actually keep it alive and ensure that he was right there with the challenge. Bill now on the breakaway for Chiangrai. Bill looking for the angle for that shot to come in, and almost fell into the path, didn't it? of Fitiwata.
Oh, Bill wanted this. He wanted this return pass here. It was on. Buran could have been a little bit stronger. Once again, you have to keep reiterating that Chiangrai have had these little openings. A couple decent chances, little half chance there. I'll even promise more goals in the second half. How's that? Can't see this staying the way it is.
Brenner. Chiangrai know as well the weather as it is here in Thailand. It's Beijing Guan, first match of the season, last 20 minutes of the game. They might just be feeling it. Finished strongly. They were still very much in this.
They've already had a player just having to go off with a little hamstring tweak.
Lilei. Pass came off the left full back for a throw to Chiangrai. Genesio will be happy with what he's seen so far from his charges in the first 45 minutes. Fitiwat anywhere would do in terms of the clearance. Fitiwat having to go all the way back to Sarawoods, but couldn't squeeze that ball out of that cul-de-sac that he was in. Piraku has been forced to kick long a couple of times already due to the high press by Beijing Guan. Well, the mean green machine have been pretty mean in terms of keeping out the goals. So what 7 clean sheets in the first 8 matches to begin last year. They might be beginning 2020 with a clean sheet here at the power of Chiangrai Stadium as well. Jiang Tao has been overlapping, but hasn't really been found. They've used him more as a decoy more than anything else in this first 45 minutes. Bill trying to bully himself all the way through into the penalty box. Lilei with Zhongguo ahead of him decides to just calm things down a little bit with the ball back to Yu Dabao. Yang Fan is dovetailed well enough with his captain in the first 45 minutes. What we've seen so far, at least they've kept out the chances of Chiangrai. Bakambu has asked for a free kick. The referee says you have the advantage, you have the ball, play on.
Bakambu's on the floor there. Really good line from Brinner. A little half a step from Brinner just to make sure.
Wang Ziming couldn't do what he did when he scored that opening goal, holding the line. Chotipat. Well, he's had Chiangrai's best chance in the first 45 minutes. Only 1 shot on target against Melbourne in their opening match. They haven't had a shot on target in this one against the reserve goalkeeper of Beijing Guan. Beijing, though, have the lead, and it came from that number 20, Wang Ziming, who is the second choice striker, just going through the defense after it was eviscerated from that lovely little dink from Jonathan Vieira, who is back after a loan spell at Las Palmas and into his bag of tricks yet again, assisting the opening goal of the game. Yongrei has tried in terms of his corner kick situations. Sivakon has probably been Chiangrai's best player, but they go into the half-time break trailing by a 0-0 against the mean green machine of China, Beijing Guan.
Yeah, it's been an entertaining first half in Chiangrai. Just a goal in it. Wang Ziming's 23rd minute strike, giving Beijing a slender lead at the break. Chiangrai still in it, though. We'll see what they can do in the second half. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll have a look at all the goals from tonight's Champions League games.
day is better with friends.
At Stamford Bridge, the only constant is change. Chelsea legend Frank Lampard knows that more than most. Which begs the question,
can he succeed where others have failed?
Join the conversation on The John Dyke Show.
The people you sent out, they're in trouble.
The enemy are watching us.
The spy you're looking for, right here in your camp.
I didn't mean for any of this to happen.
We don't fight for revenge. We fight for our future.
The Walking Dead, all new season, returns February 24th at 11:30 a.m. and 9 p.m. Same day as the U.S. on Fox.
Hell yes.
Hold me.
I wanna be a cult leader. I'm gonna make you a believer. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Surprise, they are real.
What? And that is what you are.
I will burn this city to the ground.
It into space. Chiangrai, a runner on the outside. The Korean goes for goal. Goalkeeper makes a save, makes a hash out of it. Vieira waited and waited, and that perfect pass right through, and that's the opening goal. Wang Ziming, who's been quiet throughout the night, but he sprung to life at the right time, and Beijing Guan take the lead.
Yep, it's match day 2 of the AFC Champions League. 2 games have finished tonight. The other is at halftime between Chiangrai United and Beijing FC. The visitors there are in the lead by a goal to nil, thanks to Wang Ziming's 23rd minute strike. Chevy Singh and Rish Roshan Rai in the studio with me tonight. Chiangrai, they're not out of it, are they, Chevy? Because they've showed some positive vibes, some positive signs in that opening half.
Well, they are, in my opinion, quite probably playing at their best, you know, and yet, you know, they've shown, you know, little signs, or sporadically they've showed, you know, signs that yes, they can be dangerous. But over the 45 minutes, you know, there's only been one team in it.
Yeah, I mean, in that 45 minutes, you could just see that Beijing FC were a class above them, despite the fact that, you know, they haven't played any competitive games now for quite a while. The Chinese Super League has been suspended. Talk us through that goal, Wang Ziming in the 23rd minute. What a good build-up that was.
Listen, most goals in football are scored in transitional moments, and that's because, you know, teams are disorganized in those situations. So what we're going to actually see here is Chiangrai themselves looking to try and get out in a transition from defense into attack. Pitiwat on the ball. He's going to play into Chotipat in this position. But Beijing, what they do really well is they recover their positions quickly in these areas. And Lee Ke is there. He's been very disciplined with his positioning. Eventually, he's going to end up winning the ball in that area. I'm not quite sure this is a very good run from Chayawat, because what he's essentially doing is he's putting 2 Chiangrai players in there and saying to this Beijing defender, Li Lei, that, you know, one player can keep an eye on these two in these situations, and you're going to get Renato and Lee Ke closing down Chotipat in that space there. So the moment they win it, it's quick passes. And what's going to happen here is you're going to see a situation where Pitiwat in central midfield, he's gotten forward, Lee Yong-rae has gotten forward, and you're left with just Sivakon, the 3 central midfielders. You're left with just Sivakon in there, one up against Renato, up against Piao Cheng, and later on we're going to see Vieira as well getting himself into an advanced position. Now we'll play it on very quickly. 1 pass, 2 pass, 3rd pass into Vieira, into this space. Again, Sivakon can't stop it in that area. And once it gets behind Chiangrai's midfield, go, have a look. Vieira's in a position where he does really well, Shebi, to carry the ball forward. Why is he carrying the ball forward?
because there is space, and that is very important, because then he forces the defenders to come towards the ball, and that slight space there which is created, and he slips the player through. I mean, this is fantastic, really. So when you have that opportunity, there is space. Number one, you make quick passes. Number two, if the ball is at your feet, you advance into the space, you commit the defenders, and then you create an easy chance.
Yeah, it's a lovely through ball there, isn't it, from Vieira.
Have a look at this, yeah, and you can see just how tight that space is for him to just lift the ball into the path of Tuming. But again, goal on the transition. Beijing have had a lot of possession. Yes, they've had attempts on target, 5 attempts on target, but their best moments have come in these transitional moments where they've let Chiangrai get forward, and then those spaces have opened up, and then that was 5 passes, and they're through with a finish.
Yeah, it should be noted as well that Beijing FC's 3 foreigners have been with the team for at least 1 season, so there's a lot of cohesiveness between the 3 of them and the rest of the team. Now, we've been speaking a lot about Vieira, who created that chance for Wang Ziming in the 23rd minute, but he's also had chances as well, and he's kept the Chiangrai United goalkeeper Apirak really, really busy. He's had to be on his toes to stop Vieira.
Well, it has been interesting because it's Vieira and Renato Augusto who have been given the freedom to roam left, right, drop into a number 10 position as and when they like. And that, has really, really given a lot of problems. Thai team where Chiangrai, where Roshan has already explained, I mean, they're very loose, they are so loose. And once again, Vieira maybe can do better when he finds himself in those situations in the second half.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not over yet. He's going to have plenty of more chances.
Listen, this was excellent. Lee Ke, once again, is having a really good game for them. And in this situation, he actually shows, his wonderful vision and distribution, because there's a disguise on that pass. He's given the defense the eyes a little bit. It looks like he might go into a wider pass, closes his hips off, and he should have finished that one, Vieira.
So Beijing FC are leading Chiangrai United by a goal to 0. Wang Ziming with the strike in the 23rd minute. Chiangrai United, though, they've had a couple of chances themselves going forward. Been a little bit unlucky, but again, the finishing. But this was a good one. Well, this was a great attempt there by
from distance. In the first place, Hossein should not have let the ball out like that. I mean, come on, catch it or just palm it away for a corner. But he does well to recover and save from the rebound.
Yeah, Chayawat's having a pretty good game, I've got to say. This one, sky high.
No, this is really diabolical, because you look at that. I mean, great ball played into him. What does he do? It's like close your eyes and just smash at the ball and hope that it ends up in the back of the net. No, keep your eyes open. Make sure when you hit the ball, get it on target.
Yeah, Chochipat here with his attempt. Again, I suppose it's a bit of a deer in headlight situation as well. They need to calm down, take their time.
Yes, they need composure.
That's it.
Composure.
That's
composure doesn't mean to slow things down or slow down everything. No, just be more composed. Maintain the tempo, but composure at high tempo is what makes the difference between normal players and great players.
Fair enough. Now, Roshan, there was an appeal for handball by Bill in the 17th minute. We didn't have a great look and a replay of this, but what did you see?
I saw it come off the defender's thigh, and I think for me it was quite clear. And Bill's going to try his luck. I think that's great refereeing in that situation. Bill loves to talk to the referees. I mean, have a look at this. Look at that. Off the thigh. And it can't be handball because his arms have gone behind his back in that situation. So credit to the referee. That was really an excellent decision in real time, which can be difficult, can be tricky, but he's got it spot on. And Bill even tries to claim after that it's actually hit his hand twice. No, I mean, good try, nice try, sure, but really good referee.
How many times have you done that in your footballing career?
Never.
Never?
No, of course, all the time, Colette, all the time. Even if I knew it came off me and went out, I'd ask for a throw-in the corner, so yeah, all the time.
Okay, good stuff, Roshan. Shebi Singh in the Fox Sports studio with me. We're going to head back to Chiang Rai for the second half between this match in the AFC Champions League. It's Chiangrai United up against Chinese Super League club Beijing FC.
Asia's theatre of football.
What a goal!
Where the passionate fans inspire clubs to chase continental glory.
Well, it's absolute class.
AFC Double Strike, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, live on Fox Sports.
Oh, it's beautiful! That has got to be one of the goals of the season.
The explosive.
What a way to score it.
The spectacular.
That was sheer brilliance.
And the downright bizarre.
What the heck was that? Oh, goodness me! It is extraordinary.
Only one place to catch them all.
What about that for a corker? Do not stop those.
Goals on Fox Sports.
Verstappen's a good driver.
Oh, Matt,
Your specialist Hamilton like to take risks.
Roger.
Sivakorn, who I thought was absolutely standout in that first half, and he looked like he can run forever. He's putting in tackles, he's keeping it nice and simple, minimalistic passing. So they're really going to have to look to him. He's still going to have to plug those gaps. Bill needs to do a lot more. And I mean, he needs to be a little bit stronger, and he's got to stay central as well.
So in 1.5 games of football in the Asian Champions League, having taken 2 years to get here, Chiangrai United still that has done well enough to keep the Congolese quiet for most part of that first half. Zuming, scorer of the only goal of the game, happy to settle for a throw. It's not the best of passes that time from the goal scorer Zuming, not the best of touches either. It's actually Jiang Tao, the right fullback, who's in his second spell here. Beijing, but hasn't played enough yet over the last few years. Just his 60th appearance for his club side. Dongguo. He's looked very assured whenever he's got time on the ball. Ziming trying to get in behind the defense, but Shinafat is there yet again. Watchful, alert. That's very well done by Yongray. Sivakon's pass.
Like I said in the just before kickoff, the first half, that you expect a few mistakes. Pitch is drenched, it's slick, but it is cutting up a little bit now.
Bakambu inside the penalty box with Ziming. Renato Augusto happy to play it outside to Lille, who is one of the best crossers of the ball with the left foot and not the right. In the Chinese Super League last year, trying to use that weaker foot. It's nothing but a floater. Bill does well enough physically to ensure that throw is kept with Chiangrai. That's not a very good touch by Sivakon. Happy to go all the way back to Yutabao. Delay to Renato, stretches himself as wide as possible. Really enjoys playing down that left-hand side, as we saw in last year's competition. How about that for a switch to Vieira, who's got Jiang Tao on the outside, always happy to maraud and overlap. Ball was hung well enough for Renato to actually attack it, but it's very well defended. And yet again, this time Shinafat Liao.
Well, it's a wonderful switch from Renato. But then when the ball came in, he didn't even jump for it. It's really well placed.
It's the worst cross that he's put in tonight, Jiang Tao.
Just try to put too much on that. But yeah, as the ball just came in, drifted beautifully over to Renato Augusto. And didn't jump.
Apirak, who had quite an outstanding game against Melbourne for Sami Taki, has taken his place on the bench now ahead of Seksan Siripong, who was actually named on paper as the head coach for tonight's game. Brenner. It's well kept that time from Chaya Woods. Bill almost running into trouble against his counterpart, Renato.